Right, is it 7:30? It is 7:30. Right, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for attending. Thank you. To receive any apologies for absence and declarations of interest. Apologies?
From Rod and Laura and Sarah.
Great, fine, thank you. And declarations of interest, you've obviously seen the agenda. Anything that you think is going to affect your judgment? Turn down, you can always just mention it and come through. Thank you. Comments or observations from members of the public and to receive reports from Cambs and District Councillor. Or County District says. Right, do I need to close the meeting? Does any members of the parish wish?
I've always got one, Graham, you know me.
Yeah.
The main one is regarding the first item in the policy group, 19-20-119.
Yes, it is.
Dot 1.
Yeah.
I would like to, I'd strongly object to the Finance Committee being turned into a working group and consequently behind closed doors, and not particularly in the spirit of openness, and particularly as it's the finance group and it's a lot of money is discussed at those meetings, which is parishioners' money. So I'd just like to put my objection in that I would not like to see that change from currently being a committee to a working group, please.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other ones, can we please do something about supporting documents? I don't know what half the stuff's about still.
Yes. I shall try and make it as clear as possible. What?
No, I meant about getting some supporting documents out before the meeting for various topics.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, if you have trouble, just let us know. We can go slower or whatever. You don't want to make a judgment of things that you haven't seen. So. Okay, we'll work on that. Darren, are you okay? Yeah, good. Okay, fine. Right, I'll close the meeting again then. Item 117 is to approve the minutes of the Parish Council Meeting held on 7th of October. They were supplied in draft form. Are you simply happy with those? Any bits and pieces that you would like to change? I'll just call them up in this slick manner. Right, okay. Meetings. So you're all happy with those? Do I need to call them up? No problem with them? No? Okay. So I propose that I sign those. Can I second that, please? Thank you, Ian. Yeah. All in favour? Okay, that's all 5 of us. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I spoke to Ian Bates just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
He gave his apologies, was unable to be here this evening.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so
Oh, right.
That on in my haste to
To get here.
Work. Yes.
Okay, I'm sure we can go back on that one.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay, so item 118, matters arising from the last meeting. This is the Clerk's report. You've seen the Clerk's report, but I'm sure she will go through it just to let us know what's been happening in the last month. Please.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I spoke with the stakeholder manager of the A428 to ask why we haven't been included in the consultation, and she has now added Hilton to the Eastern Community Forum. So we'll be invited to the next meeting, which is due to take place in the new year. I sent a response to the consultation for Boroughfoot 3, and I received a response to state that I would point out that although there was a 10-year maintenance plan included within the document, Highways England does not intend to keep the land for this period, but is under an obligation to ensure that the maintenance plan is carried out. Highways England would wish to dispose of the land as soon as possible. In the first instance, discussions would be held with the previous owners of the site. At present, however, there is no clarity as to funerage ownership, and any further development of the site would be subject to the usual planning considerations.
No.
So I have placed the order for the Siltex. I've received a response this morning actually to say that he's penciled us in for the 11th of December, but it needs to be after the weather is cooled and there's been frost to clear the water slightly.
Yeah.
So it is only penciled in depending on the weather. The playground gate is actually almost installed as the work on the fencing started today. So yeah, we're sort of halfway through the fencing. So the next job is inspection. Fireworks, I've received the risk assessment from the fireworks team, which I've sent to the insurers, and I've had confirmation that the event will be covered by the council's insurance. I have received several reports of streetlights malfunctioning from parishioners, and each time I've reported it to the maintenance contractor, they've dealt with it almost immediately, within the day or two, that light's fixed. So very, very good service from them. We've had a message from the outgoing handyman to say, could I pass on his thanks to all the parish councils for the retirement gift. It was a pleasure to work alongside the council for so many years supporting Hilton Village. And last but not least, Graham and Kieran have managed to complete the transfer of the monies from Barclays to Unity Trust. So we finally have the Unity Trust bank account up and running, and the council can now do back payments and have online banking.
Excellent. Brilliant.
That's me.
Well done. Thank you very much. Right. Item 119, policy group. So this is the results of the policy group. The first one is 119.1. This is to discuss and decide whether the Finance Committee should remain a committee or become a working group. We tentatively mentioned it last meeting, with the view of getting feedback from parishioners. We've had one tonight. Anything else?
No other feedback.
Does anybody else have any views? Or because we met on Friday, and we chatted, and I think the point to bear in mind is that that committee has no authority. So what we are bringing back tonight is what we discussed at the meeting. It will all be open for further discussion. So I mean, I don't think we've had people at the committee meeting for a long time, but it's really. Do you have any strong feelings?
If it was a very well attended meeting in public, there'd be more reason for doing it, I think, in public. It's saved the parish a bit of cost and probably a little bit more ease of organising it in our busy lives.
Wouldn't need to do agendas, would we?
If there's any, I say, the counter for that is, of course, we would have to be as transparent as we possibly can. This is really it's a nice good example because we will be reviewing everything we discussed at that meeting.
Yes.
So there'll be nothing that's not
Yes.
seen by councillors.
One of the things that's in my mind is the fact that our parishioners want to see what's behind the scenes, not just what's presented other than an agreement. So I just wonder if there's some way by which we can, perhaps keep the meetings as they are, but make a commitment to publish. Here are the options, or we look at this, and this is where they ended up, just to give a bit more substance to these things.
Yeah,
Because
we did minutes, don't we?
Yeah. But they're not
they don't give all the options.
line by line.
No, their conclusion on
Copy
it.
of the debate.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Presenting all the options is what we have done at these meetings in the past, and to my knowledge, nobody's ever attended one. If they're, I think if anybody was deeply troubled by what the council are doing, then you could see it very clearly in what would be published if we agree on the budget tonight.
I was going to say maybe the other aspect of it is if we're more explicit about the budget and what's set for each particular area, and then in terms of how much spend, it's discussed relative to in a way that is more evident, I think. I mean, I know we kind of do that in a kind of skating it over way. And I mean skating it over in the sense that we're not publishing the document, we're not setting it out perhaps as clearly as we want.
But if we're going to present it in a way where everybody sees all the options, really, you should come to the meeting, because that's when you get to see all the options.
Well, it's a conclusion, isn't it? I mean, what?
No, well that's the problem. I think it goes back to supporting documents, doesn't it? Because the public don't see all of, the background.
True, tonight
documents.
the budget is there for us to give, it's not on supporting docs, so that would be something that would be quite useful, because it's a parish thing. And it's brought early so that we have tonight to discuss the budget, and we will discuss it line by line as to what the committee came up with as a suggestion. And then others, I mean, there were three of us at the meeting, only two who were there, so by all means challenge as to how we got the numbers, and then we can go away and discuss it or think about it, and then we don't need to agree until next month. So we always try and bring it up early so that we have time to bat it backwards and forwards. I mean, I'd never bring it to the December meeting, so this is budget, you must sign this tonight, because we had to get our precept in, so I think there's plenty of time to.
And I think as three councillors are missing tonight as well, it would be useful to bring them.
Yes, well indeed. Okay. Well,
But are there any other pros and cons about whether it's a good thing for the committee?
not really, but I mean, I'll stall on that, because we're not, I kind of feel that we're not particularly comfortable either way. We don't need to make our mind tonight. So based on that and how we get on with budgets, we can decide whether the working group's done a good enough job, sorry, the committee, the working group, have done a good enough job, and whether we continue in that vein, or whether we feel that more transparency would be good.
Do you know what other parish councils do?
No idea. I think they actually have committees that are decision making.
Yeah.
This is a committee that meets in public but has no authority.
Right.
So it sort of has to, it meets, but it has an agenda and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
it recommends back to full council. But I like to think it recommends in a way that you don't have to rubber stamp it. You know, we go through all the bits and pieces, and not just saying, right, the precept's going to increase by X amount. We explain why.
Committee can't agree with a precept, it has to come to full council to agree.
Well, there you go, see?
How many times a year does it meet? Is it 3 or 4?
Finance committee.
Finance committee.
It varies looking at history, sometimes only 2.
Right.
It always meets this time of year,
Yes.
time of precept,
Yeah.
but it should meet
Yeah.
at least, I would have thought 2 or 3 times, because it needs to
Because,
sort of halfway through the year, it needs to meet to make sure it's on budget.
That's right.
Normally it's 3 or 4,
Yeah.
should be quarterly really.
I thought it was round about that.
Yeah.
And each time the cost will be in the region of what? £15?
Well, we were there for 2 hours, weren't we? So
Yeah.
12.
£12. If we were to meet here, that would be obviously a little bit more,
26.
26. So it's just trying to give some thought as to what the savings would be. So there would be some saving there. I say it's such a shame because I can't ever remember a member of the public being there at a finance committee meeting. So in a way it's been money that's just gone.
It's, I'm not being a clear figure either way, so I mean,
No.
if we're happy, we'll talk a bit longer. Okay. And keep it as a committee. And then we'll see how you feel about what the committee arrived at. Right, approve and adopt the term reference to the planning committee. This again is a document that the policy group discussed. If you approve it tonight, it will go on to the website, so it will be there for the public to see. I don't think it's particularly controversial.
No.
Yeah.
So can I propose that we accept that as it is? Another second of that?
I'll second that.
Oh.
I know.
And put a hand up, Kieran spoke.
Okay.
All
Well, I
those
was
in
afraid I
favour?
was looking at the keyboard, so.
All those in favour, are we all happy?
Very much so.
Okay, very good. That's planning committee. Approve and adopt the terms reference to the staffing committee. This is becoming more important because we hope to hire a handyman or employ a handyman, and therefore the staffing committee will have a bigger involvement certainly in the recruiting. And so we have come up with terms of reference for the staffing committee. And one of the things there is that we will increase the number on that committee to 5. So that's probably the only significant change. So again, if you're all happy with that, I suppose we accept that.
Just
And-
one,
sorry.
I thought there was a typographical mistake.
Excellent.
Under-
Shows you ready, good.
There you go. Paragraph 9, procedures. The last line should it not be, meetings will be held on an as-needs basis.
It's even underlined, isn't it? Meetings will be held on a needs basis.
Yeah, so it should be on an as-needs basis. It sounds like a sneeze.
Yeah. But
That's the only thing I could
No.
see was needing change. The rest of it made absolute sense.
good. Thanks very much.
Do we need to nominate anybody else to do
Yes,
them?
that's the next item. It says subject to approving it, then we'll need to elect 2 more members. So that's the next bit.
How
So
many members do you need to
it's 3 at the moment. It's 5 to make it up to within this the terms reference. So we need to vote 2 more on. Can I have I'm going to propose that we accept the staffing committee terms reference.
Yep.
And seconds. All in favour? Yeah. Thank you much. Right, so the terms reference we accept. We've now adopted them. We need to elect 2 more members. Now, at the moment, it's Sharon, Rob, and myself. So I don't know whether any of you 3 wish to join us. Alternatively, we could wait until we have a bigger crowd. But we are missing 3. So from those 3, we could.
I'd be happy enough to do it, but if the others are there to keep.
Laura was quite keen, I think. I don't want to sort of obviously, vote her in without her being here. But
Yeah. I mean, one of the
she's
issues.
got quite a lot of experience.
Okay. One of the problems is that we're required to come up with a interview panel. Something wrong. Which will be 3 people. I think we said that.
Yeah.
So, depends whether we need to determine that panel tonight.
Well, I've done a lot of interviewing, if that's any help, so.
But then we need to elect the panel from
Sure, from the committee.
the staffing committee. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, if you're offering tonight, that's good, thank you.
I can always step down and
Happy
something
to
else.
interview.
That's the 4 of us. And then.
On the same basis as that,
You say?
somebody.
What? We forced to it. Okay, so it's Anne and Kieran joining us. Thank you very much. I shall propose that Anne and Kieran join the 3 that are already there.
If anyone is not here who wants to join though,
That's fine, I'll step down.
You were around. Okay. That's a proposal that Anne and Kieran join us. Can I have a second of that?
Can I second myself?
Sharon seconded, so to avoid any problems.
Yeah.
All in favour? Well, yes, so that's everybody, including the 2 non-members. Okay, thank you.
Not being silly, but is it correctly termed a committee or should it be a work group? Or am I just for the sake of it?
Well,
It has to be a committee because it has delegated powers,
Oh, right. Okay, thank you.
but all the committee meetings will be held under proper notice of privacy.
Under what, sorry?
Under a proper notice of privacy.
So we put the
Which is
agenda
the
up, haven't we?
section 1, so yeah,
Right.
your
Yeah,
agenda
yeah.
goes up, but the content of the meeting in the main will be under a notice of privacy.
Okay.
Well, that's straightforward.
But yeah, in order to delegate responsibility, it has to be a committee, you can't delegate to one group.
Right. Okay.
Right, item 119.5, approve and adopt terms of reference for the responsible financial officer, sitting on my right hand side. So again, if you're happy with that, if you find any typical errors and things, let me know. Otherwise, are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Again, that also
Yeah,
makes
okay.
sense.
I mean, they all follow the guidelines.
They do follow guidelines, it's just we haven't had them and we will review them every year,
Yeah.
so if we find that it's not working for some reason, then we can change it, but we do need something in place so that we know
Sure.
what to work to. So our proposals are accepted. Seconder? Kieran seconding. All in favour?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that's good. Approval and adopt terms reference to emergency officer. Now we put this one in because the emergency officer it has been changed quite a lot, it's been simplified. So, if you're happy with that, you've got terms of reference to the emergency officer.
So if you remember, so this was, the original document wasn't just the terms of reference, it's also his duties, wasn't it?
That's
So
right.
we've taken that
Yeah.
chunk out. and
Yes.
done
It was everything sort of
it.
in one chunk, wasn't it? We've now taken out the man or the lady
Yeah.
from the job.
Yeah.
No, it's the boy.
Right. Filling a kettle. Okay. So if you're happy with that, I propose we accept those terms of reference. Not second?
No.
Yeah? Okay, and seconding, all in favour? Say aye. Aye, good. Discuss and decide upon whether to appoint an open space officer. This will be someone from the Greens, the open, Green and Open Spaces group.
Sorry, have
yeah.
I missed it? Have we got an emergency officer? Have we appointed that?
Ian is the emergency officer.
Sorry, I didn't realise that.
But, well, I mean, he's been for about a year.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But all we're doing here is we're just changing the terms of reference.
Okay,
So
sorry, I
it's,
didn't.
it's more
I didn't know
more
that you
specific
were-
now.
No,
So,
don't worry.
but it's one of those things we need to work on, isn't it? Because hopefully we don't get any emergencies, but when we do, we need to make sure we know what we're
Yeah.
doing. So,
I mean,
that's
is
been
there, that's, I'm not sure, I don't know, but are the village aware that you're the emergency officer? You know, would it be useful to put, but on the notice boards, would it be useful to just put in an emergency fire?
That's the clock sort.
Yeah. It depends what,
Right.
how it needs to be. The emergency officer's role is more, you know, if there was a massive flood in the village and people had to be evacuated and sent to a central
Yeah.
location, that's when the emergency officer would be coordinating until the emergency services arrive.
Oh, right, okay. So then you would contact the emergency officer, people wouldn't contact you directly?
Well, I say it's on the website, and it's more for, you know, the Environment Agency might contact him and say this is the emergency on the way.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Right, so,
Yeah,
Okay.
I must admit, I always thought it would be best not to have it on notice boards in case it's, you know, me cats up a tree. Oh,
That's
for
right.
the emergency officer.
I think, no, I meant to specify, you know,
Yes.
if there was a flood or,
Yeah.
because actually when Church End flooded a few years ago, I didn't know who to ring at all, I wasn't on the
Right.
parish council,
Sure.
and there was nowhere to, you know, find out that
No,
information.
no.
I'm running over to neighbours.
Okay, so open spaces officer. This would be an officer who would have delegated powers, I believe.
In effect, we have, don't we? Aren't you?
Well,
Yeah, but
they have no
Well,
power.
Restricting,
so we've actually been operating a little bit incorrectly. So unless you, so we have a maintenance contract and we have other things that we do, we've just been happily getting on with it. But actually we do need to have approval from the council to give us this title, and then we can then do things directly rather than have to bring it back to the council or burden Clerk with some day-to-day things.
So the terms of reference are management of maintenance contractor, organising voluntary work parties, liaising with tree surgeons, acting as convener for the Green Open Spaces Working Group, and acting as tree warden and liaising with HTC regarding necessary tree work. So that's the terms of reference that we would delegate to
Yeah,
the
my
open.
point was more that the role is being fulfilled.
It
so
has.
There's no reason to not have it.
Indeed, but it hasn't been written down on the website, so it's formalising it, yes. So if you're happy with that, I'm going to propose that is...
Sorry, can I just add about the benches, maintenance of
Yeah.
benches, because we've got a budget for that for next
Yes.
year.
Part of,
That's the maintenance man.
Maintenance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's definitely going
Would
down
that
for
not come under your powers then to delegate the maintenance
Well,
man
this is
of what
why
needs doing?
This is why we've been involved in writing the job description, so we don't get any, it's clear responsibility who does what.
Right.
And so that's something which falls outside of the normal maintenance contract. And therefore, now we have this opportunity, which we'll come on to later.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, propose that we have the terms reference emergency officer. Are we happy? I propose
Sorry,
that.
we're
And the
appointing
Uh,
an open spaces officer.
we've dropped it.
Terms of reference. We're just having to appoint an open spaces officer. And then
We
approve in terms of as you've done your reference officer.
Sorry. Okay. Right. Just to clarify here, discuss and decide upon whether to appoint open space officer. Are we going to agree and appoint him?
Yeah.
Okay. Decide, discuss, decide and appoint. So,
We have to vote.
so presumably it's between the pair of you.
Well, sorry.
Is that right?
Well, haven't we decided whether we want one though?
Yes.
Yes, discuss and decide.
So
Yes,
we're
we
going to
have.
vote on the
Sorry.
Yes.
decision to appoint one.
Okay. I'm losing the reins here.
Sorry.
Right, are we happy to have an open spaces officer?
Yes.
I propose that we do. Anne saying yes.
Yes.
Second is, all in favour? Yeah? Yeah, right, so that's good. Right, so moving on, I presume it's down to one of you two gentlemen to be the open spaces officer, and presume whoever isn't will be in the background, but
We had the duel at dawn.
yes.
Who lost? And I lost.
Okay, so you're putting yourself forward. Can I have I'm happy with that. I shall propose that Ian is the open spaces officer.
Right.
Can I have a seconder for that?
Second.
Oh, Ian, Kieran seconding. All in
I
favour?
meant you'd lost.
Yeah.
He has.
Yes, it has to be.
He's got the job.
Still.
Still,
Hopefully,
Okay.
I do say.
Right.
Absolutely.
So now we've done that, we need to approve the terms of reference, which we were discussing. There's really the 5 items on there.
Yes.
If we're happy with that, I propose that we accept the terms of reference for the open spaces officer.
Yep.
Yeah, and seconding, all in favour? Right, good, thank you. Almost there. Approve and adopt the S137 policy. This is the one that allows us to spend X amount of money per head on things that are outside specific categories. So that's there as well. So if you're happy with that.
So, a little bit more explanation.
There are 3
Okay.
So
reasons.
this is just popping up the little bits around the edges of things, isn't it? Which
It's a catch-all.
terrible explanation.
It is a catch-all, so this is referred to as a free resource because I can't remember the exact wording of the section, but it is to be able to fund anything else within the parish or with outside of the parish that the council would like to pay for. You are limited on whatever the Secretary of State has decided the rate is that year, so we're currently at £8.12 per elector. So you would need to be able to justify your spend. So we were, the example that's often given is brownies were to approach and ask you to pay for some uniform. So you would say, okay, we want to pay for the uniform, there are 20 brownies, therefore we can reasonably say that's 40 electors, therefore it's 40 times £8.12, that's the limit that we can spend. There are, in that policy, there are certain limitations. You can't use it towards money for the church, for instance. You can't use it for a charity outside of the UK. And it's all then written down in this section of the certain
It's
policy.
all based on us having the money in the first place.
Yes, it has to come out of the council's budget. But it gives you, this is the power to spend that money, because the council's only allowed to spend money where it has a specific power.
Okay. So, there you are. So we've written it down. Again, it will be reviewed annually. So if you're happy with that, I propose that we accept it as it is. Can I have a second, please?
Yeah.
Kieran seconding. All in favour?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you. And then finally, this section, approve and adopt the disciplinary and grievance policy. This one's going to be heavily used, I'm sure. Okay. So again, it's based on standard bits and pieces. It's all there, and if you accept it, you can go to the website. Generally,
And this is just for employees, not councillors.
this
Yeah,
policy is
council
designed to
market.
help council employees improve unsatisfactory conduct and performance in their job. So that's the intention of it.
Always with these things, what's in my mind is they have to be, if you like, performance measures or standards,
Oh, yes.
that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I don't know whether we should add that wording.
This is the NAUC policy with its insert council's name here. That's where these documents come from.
Yeah, no, I kind of recognise the beast, as it were. But it's just one of these things, we come across from time to time as people get disciplined, that they say, oh, but I didn't know I had to do that, or I didn't know that was a standard, or I didn't know that such a thing. So it has to go along with either a job description or duties, standards, rule, that kind of stuff.
Yes, I think
Not necessarily within this document.
no,
I'm
but the
just
basic
flagging
principle is
that.
communicating it. They keep saying the best thing to do is communicate. That's the best way of sorting problems out. But yes, but
Oh, indeed,
get to
indeed,
policy.
but people need to know what's expected of them before you discipline them for not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Are you sort of generally happy that we send that one through?
I mean, as it stands, as a disciplinary doodah, it's fine, it
Yes.
covers so much ground
Mm-hmm.
in mega detail.
Well,
But I'm just going to ask him the question, do we have the corresponding standards and
we should do on the handyman.
I suppose that will be on the job description for the handyman, won't it?
Yeah.
Should be.
and
your job
under the clerk
description.
as well.
Yeah.
Right, so if we approve the disciplinary policy itself,
Yeah.
I'll recommend that that's, or propose that that's accepted. Will I second that, please? Ian, seconding it. In favour? As it stands? That's fine, thank you very much. Good, okay. Finance review. This is in three sections. The first one is the financial reports, which I shall ask Nicola to do as the responsible financial officer. And then we come on to the budget that we discussed. This was the committee, three of us discussed for the next financial year. And then we discussed and decided upon the precept request for next year. So initially, if we just have a sort of fact-based report on this is what we've done, that'd be great. Thank you.
So your first spreadsheet shows your management accounts with a 3-year comparison. So this is up to the end of October. So it shows your actual spends compared to last year. Obviously the year's nowhere near complete yet. Your second spreadsheet gives you a budget analysis. So it tells you what amount was budgeted, what the current spend is, and the percentage thereof. And the projected spend is what I'm estimating will be spent. I haven't, in green open spaces, I haven't included the tree work that is due to happen. So the tree work that's going to be agreed tonight is not included in that projected spend. So it is looking likely that with that tree work we will go over on green open spaces. We will also go over on stationery and office. You'll have seen on the payments there's another order for toner to go through there, so it's another 90 quid to go through there under stationery and office.
Is that the photocopy?
It's the printer. So because we've done so many leaflet drops, obviously it takes a toner and a half to do a full leaflet drop. And obviously stationery office this year does include the purchase of a new laptop. We are currently under on the training budget, but I'm still waiting for CAPOUT to come back with the training dates, so that may put us up slightly, but I wouldn't expect to be anywhere near the training budget for this year. And the playground, we made an error with when we set the original budget in the fact that the CTP payment is included there in the budget for the playground. But we've included it less the donation from the town trust, which is also included in the donations line under the income. So we've effectively accounted for that donation twice. Hence the fact that that is so high. And there are a couple of payments in there. So I expect it to come back to the CTP value of about 6,000. There are a couple of payments in there already which will be claimed back from Ren when we do the first claim. Obviously the travellers were not budgeted for, so that's £1,500 spent that is coming out of the reserve, and the benches were not budgeted for, so they're also coming out of the general reserves. Does anyone have any questions on my budget or the management accounts?
Okay. Good.
Sorry,
What's the legal 960?
That's the valuation report for the easement.
Okay.
It just raises for me the question that was been raised before about what scope the budget needs to have and whether we're factoring in enough of these kind of topics.
Well, the next item
I know.
has the budget, so we have to sort of see whether there are some sort of blanks that need to
Well,
fill in.
gaps.
Yeah, gaps, sorry, yes, unknowns, yeah, okay. So, do I need to propose a special, which is fact, isn't it?
It's just review,
Just
so,
factor.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Receive.
It's nice to not have to put it through.
Makes me wonder whether we can afford to employ a handyman, actually.
Oh, well, that comes down to precept. Hilton just, no, it's not. Right. Right, so we've got the budget for 2021. Anything you guys want to do?
Yeah, I'll go through that.
Okay.
So,
Have you got this up there?
I haven't got it up, but...
Oh,
2021 budget.
okay, we'll go through it slowly then.
120.2. Okay, so income, preset currently 28,600. Fireworks are sort of neutral because we expect to have contribution towards that. Hopefully we'll break even. Other bits and pieces of interest, 32,675. Expenditure. So we'll just go through some of the highlights. So a lot of these have just been rolled forward from what we know happened this year. Salaries have gone up a little bit. Green open spaces has stayed the same. We're going to try and keep it to that figure. We've got the...
Should we say what the figures are? Because obviously...
Yeah,
can do.
Yeah.
So, salary is 7,500, green open spaces 1,500,
that's what
15,000. Handyman 2,385, insurance 1,400, which is pretty much what last year was.
Last year was 1282.
But we are
We're
coming
at
to
the
the end
end
of
of
our,
the 3-year.
so we're predicting a little bit of an increase. Subscriptions,
That's Capalc and SLCC.
£500. Stationery and office. Now, last year's number, which is pretty similar to this, had a computer in it. We are expecting that we might have to replace the printer, because the printer's quite expensive to run, especially if you're doing these. So we've kept another chunk of cash in there for that eventuality. Utilities, 1,750.
Worth noting the increase there, which is due to the street lighting energy costs are going to increase.
Training. There's a question mark on training. We were hoping to march ahead with our scheme that you were setting up, but some of these have gone, is that right?
Yeah, the administrator of Capalc has resigned. So Penny, who is the trainer that will be coming, is acting as CEO and administrator at the moment, as well as her own job.
Just looking down so we can speed this up a bit. There's
Yeah, the
nothing,
big ones, yeah.
There's nothing major there that's changed. Travellers obviously have gone in. We're actually budgeting for that this year. £1,000. Legal. We don't know when we're going to need that, but we're expecting that it'd be useful to have something earmarked for that. So it's £1,000. Pavilion, we did have a sum in there. We've actually knocked that down to zero. Was it £200? From 90 to 250. So actually that's a figure that's gone down. The bottom section of this list are reserves that we're putting aside for future expenditure. So we have now got a new play park, we've got benches, we've got bridges and roads, paths, street lighting, that kind of thing. We have now got the proper way of allocating funds for big purchases for future, in the future. So as you can see, we have allocated more expenditure than we have income.
That comes to 37,795, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we're about £5,000 short.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Those funds.
Yes. Yes, which brings us to that's the budget. Which then brings us on. I mean, if you're happy with that as an outline, I mean, you don't need to approve it tonight. It's just sort of it's there. That's what the working group came up with. Sorry, committee came up with. And it's out there. So you say we are 5,000 adrift, which would normally go on to precept.
Yes.
But we felt that was quite a large increase and it was going to be hard to explain. So the suggestion or recommendation from the committee is that the precept would be increased by 7.5%, 7%, which would be, I'm guessing now. Right. So the recommendation is that we have an increase up to 30,600. Currently it's 28,600, and this is an increase of £2,000 or 7%. Now, the justifiable, or the reason why we've gone for that figure, is still short of the 5,000 that we need. But the 2,000 recommended is due to the cost of the handyman and the increased cost of street lighting. Now, we can come back to that one in item 127 when we've got the quotes in for the street lighting, but in essence they're all going to be more expensive than the current train.
Yep.
So there's a £400 or £500 increase there. And yes, the handyman's costing us more, but the idea is that we will, again, I'm out of turn here, employ him for a year. Sorry, the contract is for a year, and the hope is, or the intention is, that we'll get better services. So yes, we're paying more, but hopefully the village will see an improved sort of response to overgrowing hedges and benches and everything else. So that's, we feel that's a cost that's worth expending. So,
sorry, just to throw in, we've obviously, the council, the village, we've now got more assets than we had this time last year.
Yes.
So we know that things like benches, for instance, if they're looked after, they'll last longer. And less big expenses later on. So,
But we still have the shortfall.
we'll still have the shortfall. Whether we get around that by some improved budgeting, I mean, do we have to have the budget lines up? That's a question.
It would be, ideally, yes, but you don't have to.
I mean, if we did that, it'd be a case of tweaking the budget to make sure it came in exactly with what goes out. But it's very hard to plan for the year, because as we know, things go up and things go down. And we do have reserves, but lots of them are earmarked for things. So that's the suggestion at the moment. I don't think it'd be right to approve it tonight because it's been announced for the first time at this meeting. We don't need to agree it until the next meeting, so go away and ponder, and we'll discuss that and agree a figure at the next meeting. Do we have any sort of resolutions and proposals?
I propose that it's going to be on the agenda next week.
Okay, I shall propose then that we have this on agenda next month, and that we that meeting will have to agree on the precept. So that's my proposal. Second of that, please. You're seconding, all in favour?
Yeah.
Say aye. Okay, thank you very much. Right, and your chance to shine. This is any of you receive the final feasibility study. We'll do it step by step, shall we?
Yeah, it was kind of our teeth in last minute, and it's only 2 months late. we've got our final report, which I think I've some chance to look at. It's enormously long, 48 pages or whatever. What's impressive about it is that it's not only very detailed, but they listened to the public meeting comments, but also to the farmer whose land may be affected. So what you've got then in the final report and the executive summary is a recommendation that we create a route along the Hilton Stanton Road, because the farmer doesn't want culverted ditches with paths on the top. There are other ways around that, so slight widening on the other side of the road in order to accommodate animal folk as well as vehicles. I have to say I'm very keen that we pursue that. I think it's an option that isn't hugely costly, and it gives us what we want. And I've added an element to it. When I was speaking to John Stanley at CCC, he was saying that if we want to go ahead with that, and in fact our scheme is already in the County Council's list of possible pathways to be developed, and they look into its funding, they do the detailed design, and eventually make it happen. We won't know till March, April, on whether we are in the next tranche or not. But the impression I've got is if we're happy to proceed with that route, then they'll do the detailed design and look at the funding, and get the job will go one day.
You say by route, obviously there's lots of options. We're talking about option 2, aren't we?
Option
and
2.
Then there's lots of sort of subsections. Are we just saying that we would like option 2 and then they will discuss which is the most beneficial?
Sort of, yes.
Right.
The ultimate recommendation they're making is option 2, but without the culverted ditch being used as a cycle surface or a pathway for multiple users. But they've emphasised the fact that they've got to do the detailed design. So until they've done that, and there are some ifs and buts about not only potentially using some of the farmer's land, and he's not against that in principle, but also potentially, where the kennels is, they see an opportunity, because that's going to be developed, to just widen the road ever so slightly there, in order to give enough width to get the cycle route as well as the road. So there's, because there are those whats and ifs and buts and possibles, then the detailed design has got to take place, is the way I understand it. So that's kind of, I think, what they're saying, and he seems comfortable, John Stanley, that we can proceed on that basis. That we want route option 2, which is the Stanton Road, and within that we want the options that minimise the use of ditches and the farmer's land.
I mean, coming back to option 2, have we discussed about making that road a slower road, and therefore we could make it more cycle friendly by making it slower?
Well, he does say in his report that you could do it. The simplest thing you could do is just create lots of signage along that road, which would say this will be for non-motorised users as well as vehicles, and leave folk to find it out. So there's enough signposts up, but that doesn't include chicanes or bumps or whatever. It's simply signage. That's the cheapest option.
But they could consider chicanes as presumably
I'm interested in the options. They haven't said a great deal about traffic coming. They've aimed to get the cycle route coming away from vehicles.
Yes. But I mean, I've got the other thing we mentioned was the Mere Way one. And I have sort of two lines. Right, I've got the friendly family cycle.
Yeah.
When you just take the kids up Mere Way
Yeah, that's right.
and no concern of traffic, but when you're going down here, you're generally going somewhere,
Yes.
and
that's
you do need some degree of road sense, because you've got roads
Yeah.
at the start and afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we are linking up with the Fen Stanton Parish Council.
Yes.
Because they're developing the Fen Lane.
Indeed.
To the
yes,
park and
that's good,
ride.
yes, yes.
So in effect, you'll have it's never 100% safe, a reasonably safe route from here for kids to go from Fen Stanton Primary School.
Right.
Below that pin, or for others to go on to Park and Ride or into the Downs,
Yes, yeah.
etc., etc. So it does work, whereas the Potton Road is
Yeah,
not, I don't think it's viable.
appreciate that. You're looking at me.
Yeah, I was just going to ask a question. So is Fen Stanton going to join up to the other side of the bridge then?
Yes.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
And they're going to go on that side of the road in front of those houses?
So which
Well, if you
will...
go over the bridge,
The new bridge.
Oh, you see, and then we've got
then you've got a little bit of a field entrance, and then you straight
Yeah,
into...
yeah. They're effectively, some of it's pavemented. Yeah, that's right. Some of it's pavemented, and they're kind of suggesting that the cyclists could use the pavement, or the other option is to create a bit of a crossing, so you go back onto the left-hand side of the road, and you just survive with the traffic, because it's a fairly short distance, and it's 30 miles an hour. So,
Yeah, it's a bit sort of fiddly, isn't it? It's not wonderful because of the various sort of driveways and things, isn't it? So I'm happy that Route 2 is the best route. I'm just not happy about the detail of that route. But then,
well, one of the things that I think we need to do anyway is get the views of parishioners to the route that's being suggested, given that it's got some variations, etc.
Yes.
And we also need to do that in order to respond to the funding folk.
Yes.
So it seems to me that that's information that then can be utilised by the county council to do the detailed design.
Yeah.
Because safety was one of the main things that people created.
Can you tell me a bit more about what happens to the ditches? Because I'm just thinking about where in the future when the parish council might get criticised for supporting something that might interfere with drainage. What's the plan?
Well, the idea is to avoid the ditches entirely. So if there's enough width in terms of the road verge, that would be utilised. And if it's not, it's a case of a little bridge across a ditch to then steal a bit of use a bit of the farmer's land. So there was a proposal in there to create 130 metres, I think, of a culverted ditch with a path on top. Farmers are not at all happy with that, so they've kind of said, okay, we can avoid doing that, either by using road verge or the farmer's land thing, or widening the road on the other side, so it creates enough space. I quite like the widening of the road thing, but that's
Well, depends on it. The wider road is faster, really. But yes, okay.
I mean, there's lots of millions of lovely drawings.
There are, and that's what I was concerned about, because if we went for option 2,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to then specify which of those options within option 2, because there are various bits and pieces, aren't there?
Yeah. Well, then, on this one, I'm just using it as an example. This is page 37, 47. There's this little blue line here. Is where they're suggesting that we widen the road a little bit, so that this is Clayfield, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's Hilton Farm.
That's
So that you don't have to get too close either to the ditch or the farm. So they're kind of using a variety of means, which makes it sound really complicated, but it's all about making sufficient width for both vehicles and cycles and things.
There are sections of that road which are really very narrow, aren't there?
Exactly.
You meet
Exactly.
a lorry or a truck,
all
or a
the
bus.
different, sorry, all the different options, the 3 different options for Route 2, They would involve 4 bridges across the ditch.
The ditch, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them exist, some they'd have to replace or renew in order to make sure that they're sufficient width, etc.
Yeah.
That's another example of where they might widen the
Yes.
carriageway in order to keep the path to the roadside of the ditch. So,
And
In the farmer, did you see these drawings?
Yes. Yeah.
yes, Ian took them through the whole thing.
Is that mine?
Yes. Yeah.
and his only concern, or primary concern, What's the culverts?
Ditches.
because of the...
That's right. Yeah. Yes. I pointed out to him that although Anne mentioned the 130 metres of culverts, that was something that came in the discussion phase, which was beginning of August, really, wasn't it?
That's right.
And we
yeah.
got back to them and said, whoa, no, don't go there. We wouldn't entertain that. So that's when they went for these 4 bridges and widening the road slightly, etc. And Mike's reaction to that was, thank you. Yeah, prefer these bridges that you're speaking of, and not the culverts. And he did point out that historically his farm has been subject to flooding, and that's why there are 3 steps going up to the farm building, and always has been, just to avoid the house getting flooded.
Okay. And back to be away, that's not mentioned in the executive summary, is it? Is that off the cards then, or?
Well, all he's
Is that
really
me?
saying about New Way is saying that it should be considered separately from the Potton Road and Hilton Road. In other words, and because of the state it's already in, what they're really saying there is it just needs to be signed as a bridleway. I thought it was by now, is it not signed? Without needing any more surface improvement. So they're saying about New Way that's just signage.
Right.
And then the recommendations to the council, they're saying sign New Way as a right of way between Hilton and Hanford Way.
Okay.
So that again is if we're in support of that, which seems to make sense to me, then we can accept, as it were, all the recommendations here and ask the county council to.
This is executive summary, you mean?
In the conclusion of the recommendation
Okay,
of
on the main report, yes, it is.
The latest one, we've had
Yes.
several versions.
Yeah.
He's saying, recommend the county council should construct a pedestrian and cycle path along Constantin and Hilton roads, along with Fen Lane, that's the Constantin Parish Council side. This will form a continuous route between Hilton and St Ives via the busway. That's the second point, sign New Way as a bridleway between Hilton and Hanningford Gray. Thirdly, investigate extending the pedestrian cycle route south to Papworth, but that will be after this
That'll be sometime
completed.
once it's approved.
And monitor use of any path. So those are the recommendations,
Yeah.
and I propose to accept them.
I'll just see what actually...
That was on page 32.
Yeah, it's not bad, yes. Yeah. Appendix A. That's not. That's true. Okay.
I mean, I have gone into a massive amount of detail. I didn't print all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be generally okay. So I'm concerned that the path sort of on the verges of things. I think it's rather messy. Changing, swapping sides, and then you've got to cross paths, driveways, which are a risk.
Well, there's not much crossing over.
Well, there is.
Crossing road.
But you're crossing driveways.
I see what you
Potential-
mean.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
the thing is that you need.
But only after the Eden Bridge.
No, there's farms, aren't there? There's Alpha Farm, there's Mike's two
right,
farms.
yes.
They all need.
Yes.
This is the point I'm making. They all need road seats. I'm not saying they're dangerous, but you
yes,
can't
yes,
you
yes.
can't claim that being on the cycle on that path, you can forget your cycle brain and just
Yeah, oh no.
poodle
Well,
off. You need.
that should always be the case, shouldn't it?
some sort of leisure routes where you can literally forget everything and just pedal to your heart's content.
Being alongside a road, I would
Exactly,
hope.
yes.
But maybe what we could suggest is that, and it may be implicit, I don't know, that there is signage to warn the users of that pathway to beware at, you know, entrances and so on to property, because that's we could put them all on a sort of frame.
More signs, more signs. Yeah, I was just thinking, construct a pedestrian cycle path. Is that ambiguous enough for me?
Say again?
Well, it says construct a pedestrian stroke cycle path along.
Well, a
Stanton
non-motorised
Road.
user is anybody who's not in a vehicle.
Indeed, yes, but I'm just thinking whether that gives us scope to do something else. Because I'm happy to have route 2 as the option, but I don't particularly like what they've come up with to the frame.
I'm sort of in agreement really. Only because of if controlling the speed of traffic is an option, it's dramatically less cost. That seems to be the smarter thing to do rather than build a load of structure.
But the issue with that
Which doesn't quite deal with it, because you've still got to get on, and you've still got to deal with these driveways. You're not, as Graham said, you're not in completely protected. You're still going to cross the.
if you go for the just signage route, the issue that was raised there was who's going to monitor it, who's going to check that anybody's sticking to the speed limits, etc. So in a sense you create a different kind of an issue.
It needs to be more than signage.
Yeah.
It would need to be physical restrictions as well.
Yes. But there's no lorries supposed to be on that road.
But there are five
buses going on there,
five
don't
buses.
And great big, tractors.
Yes. Oh yes. No,
Combine harvesters and stuff.
you need to make sure that they can get through, but they don't need to get through at 50 or 60.
So are you saying that in effect we were not accepting this recommendation, that what we'd rather have is traffic calming and signage?
Well, that's what I would prefer, but I'm just thinking if I can accept this as a constructed pedestrian cycle path, whether that's vague enough for the county council to discuss the options. Because we haven't said that we want it in accordance with 2A or 2B, you know, we're just sort of saying we want a cycle path
No, because
along,
that's right.
which I think is a better route, because as I say, there's more houses and it's less in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, that is certainly contained within the executive summary.
That,
To go back to signage.
right. I mean, what do we actually mean by executive summary?
It's a summary that was put together by the County Council and ratified by Transport Initiatives as
Okay.
being an appropriate summary of the report.
Right. So that's the one that's going to be sort of heavily favoured by county council.
Well, what they're saying is it's a
It's
summary
what
of
the
the
report
report.
says. It's what it's, yeah, it's
So
what the
it's
report
the report
says.
that's making that recommendation.
Yes.
I thought we'd kind of ruled out traffic calming measures because of the issues that Gravely Way had, and a lot of villages, I know Yelling have taken theirs out actually.
Have they? That's actually through the village, isn't it, rather than sort of on the outskirts, because this is... One of the problems with traffic calming is people don't like the banging of the noise of the trucks.
No, it's when you come into Yelling from Toesland and...
They've got it,
Yeah,
There are
it's great
restrictions
big
on.
humps, yeah.
There was a restriction, wasn't there? That's gone now, is it?
Oh no, the chicane is still there,
Oh, yeah,
but those
yeah.
great big
That's what I mean,
roads
yes,
as well.
yeah, yeah.
What the first point on the executive summary is that their top recommendation, is to construct an off-carriageway shared use footpath along the eastern side of Stanton Road. So that's the same side as the cycle path over the flyover. This would link to the Harvesting the Enemy Bridge that's been constructed on the eastern side before proceeding onwards from Stanton. So that's what we're saying. We're not saying the top recommendation is signage and traffic calming. So are we rejecting our recommendation?
I don't think we should. I think this is the executive summary. I would tend to agree with this actually.
It's item 3, wasn't it? A further option presented involving minimal construction costs.
But even if you have traffic calming, you're not going to be able to, that's actually probably more dangerous for cyclists because then there's cars coming through the middle of the road. I think that the one in Gravely Way is actually quite dangerous actually.
There are some around, but I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? With experience, as to things change, don't they? Sort of the engineers, the traffic people tend to learn from their mistakes. But I'm just thinking, I can't, when you get the serious cyclists coming through, I can't see them going onto the path.
Really?
They wouldn't. The gangs that come through, they wouldn't go on the path. So they'd
Isn't
still
that
be on the
up
road.
to them? If they
It is
don't
up to them,
want
yes, I
do
know,
it?
but I mean, you feel,
Stop.
it's overall safety, isn't it?
But even so if they stick to the road, even if they can widen the road in those few sections of the blue area, that's got to be better because in the height of summer, one of the issues is visibility, isn't it, with the hedgerows growing
Yes,
so tall.
indeed, yes. I mean, whether those hedges can be moved, because at the moment the hedges on the inside of the road, don't they, which makes it
So
not
you
good
can't,
visibility.
as you're going out of the village, you actually can't see things coming round that bend. So
But I mean, removing a hedge isn't a big job. But, I do appreciate, because what they say is that you do need visibility for restrictions, don't
So if the road is slightly widened, I personally don't think anyone's going to, speed up along that road. I think people still drive fairly sensibly along that end. It's really coming from St Ives where they're
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're saying in the speeds, isn't it? The two
Yeah.
graphs they sent,
Yeah.
that people are generally slower.
But as soon as they widen the bridge, there's no doubt the traffic is coming down there quicker than it used to. Hitting
Well, I
them
suppose
far,
naturally, you gain momentum coming down, but then there's such, that S-bend by the egg farm is
Yeah,
so
it's a real
tight
chicane, isn't it?
that, nobody
it's
can
really
speed
dangerous.
through there. It is, yeah.
When people come off the bridge, beautiful smooth tarmac,
Mhm.
wide, they can see ahead of them until they get there, and
Yeah.
they're doing 50, 60 miles an hour by the time they get to that.
Yeah.
But one of the advantages of using the verge of field is that those chicanes, you're actually not on the road with the traffic. Because I'm having cycled that route myself, those are the bits that I worry about most.
Yeah.
Because you can't be seen.
Yeah.
And we've had accidents before.
Mm.
People not-
Well, the whole family were knocked off their bike, weren't
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
last summer?
So if it's off the road, and then
But we've still got to get people on the path, and then at the other end, it seems to be a bit woolly where you're crossing over and.
well, again, they've given you the two options, that you can carry on in a sense along, either along the road on the left-hand side and just join over the traffic generally, or that they create a route, and then where there isn't enough space to do it, that connects up with the pavement, and then when you get to, when you turn right to go to Cunnington or Finoga,
Yeah, you get straight away.
that is the end of the cycle route. That you're on your own, you just have to cross that bit of road and then you're okay now going to the end place.
Yes.
So this executive summary gives three options,
Yes.
better and best. But there are three options that they're proposing. So these are all presumably proper options, depending on budget and
Exactly, and
availability of land and all other things.
Yes.
So it's very sensible of them to have given us three
Indeed.
potentials. The one that they're saying is their top recommendation seems to be the most difficult.
Well, I disagree with that. It's certainly not the most difficult one. The second option, where you're going along Potton Road and then cutting across to Stanton Road, some of the comments we had with a public meeting was visibility, how safe is it to be not from vehicles but from humans to take a route like that. And then you've also got the issue that it's a good bit longer than going along the Fenstanton Road. If your aim is to get to the park and ride or get to school, then that's not an ideal route.
Were you talking about difficulty of using, difficulty of instruction?
I was thinking of difficulty of construction.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that.
Yes.
I was just thinking you've already got a path that just needs metal almost up to the bridge. You've got to then flip across to the bridge.
But you also need 2 crossings
Yeah.
there, which is
Potentially you've got the same here. With Fenstanton Road, you've got a crossing
well,
on
given the speed, my understanding is that the county council wouldn't pay for a pedestrian crossing, at least a cycle crossing on the Hilton Road, but they would have to do that if it was Potton Road, which again is going to add a lot to the cost, as well as, well actually, yeah, to get that lot of traffic, but maybe
Also, I think the bonus of option 1 is that we've got Fenstanton Parish Council who are very keen on this as well. So, and they've had quite a lot of SIL money in, haven't they? So they have got sort of money to pay for, to spend on this. Yeah, it's funded. So I just think, actually, if Fenstanton Parish Council are doing sort of their end, then it seems reasonable if we've just got to get up to that end to connect with Fenstanton, it could work.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking another option, another benefit of the 3 is that it will slow traffic down generally through the village and probably the quantity of traffic.
You said 3?
Sorry.
Route 3?
Number 2, Route 2, but it's
Right.
doing it in a slightly different way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's slowing the traffic down, whether it's possible to even have like a single way with passing places to really slow the traffic down on that road.
Sorry, I was talking about
Sorry,
the Hilton
where's
Road.
I'm talking about Fenstanton Road, what we were talking about.
Yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, it's the different
So
sort of options.
3 on the executive summary.
Yeah.
Oh, the end bit.
So they're saying about signposts, but if you were signposts with a little bit more traffic calm.
Sorry, I don't know which summary you're looking at.
The executive one.
The executive summary.
Option
Option
3,
three.
it starts on the Potton Road.
No, sorry, not option 3, comment 3 on the
You've
executive
got 1,
summary.
2, 3 on the executive summary.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah, the last one.
Yeah,
Last-
it
last
says a
one.
further option is presented involving minimal construction costs. This involves signing pedestrians via Potton Road,
That's the
that
pedestrians.
footpath.
And then cyclists routed via Hilton Road.
And then the northwest brook, then Lower Road into St Ives. So you're
Yeah.
asking pedestrians to do a cross-country route.
Yeah, yeah,
And cyclists would be routed via Hilton Road, yeah?
yeah, that's all.
So if it was that with a bit of traffic calm, would that not have the benefit of slowing traffic down generally through the village?
I can't see how that would make any difference to the
I don't
traffic
think it
into
will.
the village. I'm sorry if I'm not
Well,
understanding.
you were talking about traffic across the green rather than traffic on Potton Road.
No, option 3, for pedestrians, starts along the
yes.
Potton Road.
That's right,
And you
indeed.
just carry on the path.
Indeed, but
and
we're
then
talking about
go
cyclists, I
across
think.
country, and then you end up in Stanton.
Yeah.
But the cyclist part of it is
Just-
on here.
yeah. So I'm not quite sure what would reduce the speed of traffic anyway.
If on the Hilton Road you had some kind of traffic calming.
Oh, I see, right. No,
As
Yeah,
well.
sorry, I thought we spoke
Yeah.
about this earlier. Signage and
Well, you
traffic
did talk
calming.
about this earlier, but when you're talking about option 3,
Well, it's not option 3, it's comment 3.
Comment, sorry.
Yes.
comment 3.
Yes, yes.
By Hilton Road, they mean the road towards St Ives.
No,
Fenstanton.
Oh, towards
Potton Road
Fenstanton.
and Low Road, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But that is a viable option, that you actually suggest pedestrians go a different way.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And it all depends on how many people might be not on a bike but on a motorised disability type scooter or something. But I don't know the likelihood of people wanting to go into St Ives or from Stanton in that way. But yeah, that's definitely an option.
Trying to think how we carry on, because we've looked at the executive summary. we now need to look at the preferred recommendation and talk about holding an open meeting and then distribution of leaflets. I mean, I feel we've gone through the report. I don't think we concluded, but we've gone. I'm wondering whether we can get further feedback from the village.
Can I just throw a span on the works?
Absolutely.
The Cambridgeshire Community Fund, who's funding this,
Yep.
needs to get by the end of this month a monitoring report.
Yes.
And in effect, what the guy has said is that the project, meaning the feasibility study, the project must be complete by the end of November.
Yes.
So the feasibility study must be done and dusted.
Yeah.
Okay, and my understanding of that is that that includes the Parish Council's decision on what we're going to do.
Yes.
Whether
What
we're pursuing
we'd
it
like
or
to do.
not.
Yes. Yes.
Whether we're pursuing it or saying no, we still time or whatever.
Yes.
So in terms of and certainly they're very keen that the public, the parishioners, are consulted, you know, every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, a public meeting, yes,
Mm-hmm.
to share the information.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of me says that if we're too woolly about what we're saying,
Yeah.
then CCF may say, but it wasn't enough of a report to draw a conclusion, for us to draw a conclusion.
Yes.
So I would urge us to actually decide something tonight, so that we can say to the County Council, and it could be, for example, we're happy with the route to, we like the comment on the third paragraph as being the simplest and whatever. But you know, let's see what the detailed design said. But at least we can make some clear statement as to what it is we've discussed and decided is the general way forward,
Yes.
so that we can get the funding. Because my fear is we go back to CCF and say, yeah, it was a great report, we haven't decided yet what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They may decide that then that project is not complete, and I wouldn't like us to be 10k under.
But they have produced a feasibility report, haven't they? I mean, this is very good value for this, the 10k that we spent. This is a lot of work. You can see where the money's gone.
You know, you have, anybody would question if you've got a feasibility study that's come up with recommendations, but it's not sufficient for a decision to be made, then is it that great?
That's true. Good point. I mean, have they, or did you consider traffic calming options on? Because I mean, initially we were going to go up Potten Road, weren't we? It was only the public meeting where they said, hang on, it's a bit rough, can we go down Hilton Road because it's quieter?
My understanding is that, yes, well they had looked at Hilton Road.
Yes.
My understanding is that in terms of the traffic calming, it's expensive.
Okay.
It's expensive. And because of the enthusiasm for using the Hilton and Stanton Road and the width of verges there, because it's quite clear from the report that there is sufficient space to get a cycle plus route, you know, for most of that way without too much of an issue.
It doesn't sit entirely comfortably.
No, I don't want to give any negative feedback, but I can't help it really. I don't know whether it's just because we've had so much construction and we've seen all the lovely lanes in and out of the village change so dramatically. And this will be another quite dramatic thing that goes on. And it just seems incredibly expensive as well for what we're actually going to get.
Well,
I'm sort of worried about it.
Right at the start, any of these, because of the standards required for a proper cycle route, whatever route, they are expensive. But why don't we, here's a suggestion, why don't we say, you know, we accept the report and the detailed analysis, etc. We're keen to go to the next stage, which is the detailed design. We'd like it to be based on Route 2, but based on Comet 3 down here.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And that's what we're going to ask them to pursue. So so we're saying pedestrians go that way, cyclists go this way, and the purpose of that is to reduce cost, but also, I don't know what else. Why else are we doing that?
Slow traffic. Yeah. If we can do that as well at the same time, that seems to be like a double benefit.
I still don't understand what you mean. Where are we slowing traffic?
Well, that would be
At
down
the
to...
moment, it's 40 miles an hour through the green, then it goes out to, well, it's been 40 all around the bridge, but it will eventually go to national speed limit. Now that's now a danger because traffic cyclists sharing that road, especially now going over the bridge, traffic drives even faster because it's smoother road surface and it's, downward gravity. So I can see that just putting signposts out, which will encourage more cyclists, let's say, into a dangerous environment is not great. But if you can slow the traffic down as well with calming schemes, then that together might give us a better outcome. And less cost, less invasive on the...
So you're talking about on Hilton Road?
Yeah.
Or,
No, Hilton
sorry,
Road.
Hilton
Hilton
Road
Road.
and Potton Road?
No, Potton Road I think is didn't go to the bridge because it gets full traffic. They've always said that Potton Road wouldn't be able to be restricted.
I personally think traffic calming on that road, it's very dark at night. You would have to have some sort of lighting, wouldn't you?
Well, they haven't done standard.
I think you have to do that.
Because
But the only thought I have is, and I don't know the detail of this, maybe I should, that when you create a cycle route in whatever way, then it has to comply with certain requirements. So whether it's the width of the route or whether there's a bit of a verge between you and the road and so on and so on. They are very detailed specifications as to what's okay and what's not, and that includes, say for example, Hilton Parish Road, because of the speeds being relatively low, they don't, as I read the report, they don't consider that a significant danger in terms of being used by cyclists. So I don't know the answer as to whether they would go in for more traffic calming or not. There's nothing to stop us from saying we like the route to with this comment number 3, and ideally with some ways of slowing the traffic, or traffic calming, or 30 miles an hour, or whatever. No reason why we can't ask the questions.
No, I'd be... You had your hand up.
No, sorry, I was just... Don't worry.
No.
Thank you, but
Yeah.
give it wrong impression.
Well, I mean,
apologies.
that would suit because we wouldn't actually be... The thing is that we might commit to something that isn't, I risk for saying traffic calming in some form, and maybe some rules or regulations are printed. For whatever reason, the road is not the right size or shape. So that would be down to the engineers to tell us what can and can't be done. But I would have liked them to have said to us, we've looked at traffic calming and we can't do it for X reasons.
I don't think they've ruled it out entirely.
Right,
But
okay. Yes.
I don't recall that being.
No.
No, I mean, it was something that was discussed briefly in your house back in March, and unfortunately, I can't recall why it wasn't pursued further at that point.
Well, my assumption has been, because when they set off to explore, after the public meeting, they set off with the task of exploring the Hilton Parish Road to see what was viable.
Yep.
And the way I read this is what they've come back with is that these are the viable ways by which we could make this a functioning MMU pathway.
Yeah.
And that hasn't included traffic calming. And they did talk about traffic calming at that public meeting as a possibility. They even talked about closing the road or having it
Yes,
one way
yes,
or
one way and
whatever.
yes, yeah.
That's not what they've come up with in terms of their recommendations.
No.
Do you know why?
Don't.
No.
No.
So considering that at the beginning, that would have been quite interesting.
Maybe they think it's not safe enough, because when you think of the bends in that road, you wouldn't be able to put traffic calming on any bit between the farms and the flyover. Really, the traffic calming would have to be as you come into the village outside Green End House, wouldn't it? On that straight
I don't
bit.
know, I'm not an expert, but
That's probably the
Well,
rules and
I just
regulations.
think it would be.
None of us is the expert, but
I
they
think when you drive round, it is almost impossible to speed because of those bends, isn't it?
Mm.
till you get to
Yeah.
that flyover.
But then you can't see the front of the ground again, can you? That's the issue.
You've got a difficult bend there with that hedge, particularly as you're going out of the village
Yeah.
and turning left around
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Mm. But say you could remove the hedge,
Well, yes,
but then doesn't make it worse
No.
because then you can
Yeah,
see
so
what's
it's
coming.
like-
It's like, oh, right, can I
that's right.
put that, maybe now.
Well,
Okay,
it's a bit of me says we have to respect their expertise because they do know about the requirements.
Mhm.
And this is what they've come up with.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I don't agree.
But I wonder whether, I do like your sort of, not vagaries, but suggestions that we, I mean, by saying yes, we like the report, and that we'd like to go for route option 2, and look forward to further discussions as to how this can be achieved, and potentially include traffic lighting. Was he-
I'm happy to put words of that sort together that say, route option 2. I'm not sure it's necessary to reference the third point here.
No, because I think
Pedestrians
walkers
want-
choose footpaths where they want, don't they? I mean, I don't think you need a sign for a pedestrian to go. Yeah, sort of-
But we can throw into the pot that, if that would include ways by which we can slow down traffic,
Mm,
whether it's traffic calming or whatever,
mm,
then,
mm.
and the point about not having to cross lots of driveways and stuff.
Yeah.
See, it's that final sentence that appeals to me. The analysis of the traffic speeds on Hilton Road suggests a cycle route on carriageway could be considered.
Yep.
So they are.
Yeah, no, they
saying
have certainly said that. Yeah.
Well, it's just that I think really having cycled down there, the worst bit is that S bend at the top by the Michigan farm, isn't it?
But I mean,
the bit where-
that's effectively what this number 3 is saying, that cyclists would be routed via Hilton Road. The analysis of traffic speeds on Hilton Road suggests a cycle route on the carriageway could be considered.
Mm.
So that's suggesting that they're not concerned about the speed of traffic, is it?
Indeed,
Yeah.
it's not.
Well, yeah, they're
Yeah.
saying that it meets legal, not legal, suggested.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is whether it's Sustrans, they sort of choose routes, don't they, depending on the.
Yeah.
They haven't chosen this route as a viable route. But obviously you need to move on. So,
So what would you like me to do?
well, I would suggest that we say, I said we need to be positive, that we like the report, and that we'd like a cycle route, word cycle route I would have thought.
An NMU route,
Yes, as opposed to a road, is that right?
not a road.
Yeah, via the Hilton Road, which, with consideration given for traffic calming or reducing speed, with consideration given for reducing traffic speeds?
I'd rather not put traffic calming. 'Cause
No,
to
but
be
okay,
honest,
we need to
I
put
think
reducing speeds, reducing traffic
Traffic
speeds.
speed reduction.
Yes,
Yes.
because that will please you with
just with,
your good air, because the slower they go, the better
I think
the
if,
less emissions.
if we could have a, box lights up and says, your speed was 29, thank you, that would be great.
Yeah,
There's one in St Ives now, and it's really good,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is that road's not very long, is it? We're talking of a mile a bit, so it's not very long. I mean, from dropping down from 60 to 40 would probably cost about 30 seconds, I think, if that. So it's not, I mean, I'd like it to be considered, certainly if someone to come back and say we can't do that. But I mean, if that was our recommendation, then at least we could go to the village and say, we're pushing for route 2, but we need a more detailed report as to what we can do.
Yeah, the way we can position that is to say we like the recommendation for route, option route 2,
Yes.
Hilton and Stanton.
Mm.
Detailed design's yet to be done.
Mm.
Let's have your views so that we inform the detailed design,
Yes.
because that's effectively what we're trying to do.
Yes.
What can we say we'd like to explore options, less invasive options, or, I don't know, just the money that's involved in this, and the amount of work and the impact on landscape and all the rest of it. We've got to consider this stuff. If it was a really neat, complete, clean route all the way through, that would be fantastic. And actually, when we started off on this, I was really hoping we were going to get something which was going to be like that. But
you can see from
I think it's a really complicated thing.
No.
It's really complicated. And I fully understand that. I try not to sound negative, but it's just the impact of that, of what's going to happen there. And I mean, how much money are we talking about for this?
600, 800?
No, it'll be...
700,000.
But then, yes, it's an unknown figure, isn't it? Because there's engineering costs on top, aren't there? And then there's the
Could be land costs.
land costs. Yes.
Depending on the type of surface.
Mm-hmm. There's other things, no.
Well, I've got an average here of about 100k per kilometre. So it's a lot of money.
100k per kilometre. It's more than that, isn't it? That's quite cheap.
It's 2 miles. It's less than 2 miles because you've got
I thought they told us about 700,000, didn't they?
Well, it all depends on how much you're going to have to do bridges over ditches.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes,
what kind
yes.
of surface you want,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
Whether you've got, traffic calming or signage, or
Yes.
there's a lot of plus
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yes, it's an unknown figure, isn't it?
Not just the surface. So,
Yes. Yes.
and I gave up trying to work out what it could be because there are
Yeah.
too many ifs and buts.
Yes. No, they're very detailed in their price, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think that would be enough to go back to the parish? That we would be strongly recommending route 2,
Yeah.
and hope that we could get a compromise with maybe some traffic calming and some minimal intrusion,
Okay.
minimal visual intrusion.
What I'd liked, my sense is yes, that because we've got detailed design, there's more than we can throw into the pot, and that was fine.
Yes.
But I'd also like to take John Stanley's advice on what's possible before we then have the public meetings, so that
Yes.
we're not misleading people.
Okay. Is he approachable? I mean, do you know him sort of like, could he give us an answer or some indications before?
He's been very good, I think.
Yeah,
He's
it's
very
quite quick.
willing.
Mhm.
So we can only ask.
Mm.
It's quite quick at getting back to us as well,
Yeah.
which is good.
Good. So just asking the question about what scope is there in terms of the detailed design stage for going over to this and taking over to that.
So if you had to do, where you've got a dangerous corner, if you had to build a bit of path there, then it's fine, or take something out. But if you could find a way of, there is a way of not being so impactful.
Yes, for such a short distance. I appreciate if you're going to have a route that's 50 odd miles, and it's worth it, but this just seems to be about 800 yards in total of path. I
So
just don't
when
see
we said talk about minimise the impact on,
visual impact.
is it on land? Is it?
So this land, cost, do we have a clear idea where the money's coming from for this? So in other words, we could be,
County council.
so if we could cut our cloth back a little bit, it makes it more, in my mind, makes more chance of it actually happening. Find a solution which is more doable.
So okay, we like option route 2.
Yeah.
We'd like to throw into the pot to the ways of reducing traffic speed
Yep.
to help everybody. And to minimise the impact on the land, on the cost, on the disruption. and to know what scope is for improvement through the detailed design stage. And that gives us something to go back to the parishioners with.
And if he comes back and he says, look, we can't half do this, what I've suggested is the only way. And the local authority will not be interested in allowing that kind of scheme.
Yeah.
So be it, but I think we need to ask the question.
When you say so be it, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, we know that that's not an option.
Okay.
A sort of a less invasive
Yeah.
solution is not
Yeah.
an option.
Because we've had the reasons as to why we have to go for 2B or 2C or 2A, we understand the culverting, but we don't seem to have really understood why we can't have traffic, or why we can't do something to reduce car speeds and therefore make it safer for cyclists. That's what I would.
Yes.
Well, hopefully they'll say, yes, we can do some bits and pieces, and you say there are a couple of bends that maybe we can cut them off, so that cyclists can go through them and then rejoin them.
That's one of the biggest problems. The road isn't wide enough, is it?
Exactly.
No, but that's,
It's like the sand.
but then you don't often pass a car, do you? I'm not saying you never, but it's normally quite quiet, isn't it?
Depends on the time of day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if you're thinking of this as a way by which folk can get to school or work, it's the busiest time of day, even if it ain't that busy. So I don't think we can count on.
People do cycle down there. I mean, you do see
Yeah.
workers certainly commuting down there. Or,
I think more children would cycle to school.
Exactly.
That'd be the hope, wouldn't it?
But if you're a parent of a child that can get nearly there but then has to cross, you would worry, wouldn't you?
yeah, so you do need some traffic sense to get that far.
Yeah.
You know, that's a bit that, because you've got to cross at Pear Tree Farm, you've got to cross the road in Fenstand, and there are bits of road that still need to be
Oh, yeah.
street sense wise.
Yeah.
So in
Well,
some
I
ways
think
it
we
can
can, well,
yeah, it's detail.
I
Yeah.
won't get too much into what Santa are doing, but
No,
they're
indeed.
doing
No,
it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another aspect to this, if we're happy with that, I'll go with that, is we need a public meeting.
Yes.
And the third thing is the CCF, we need to complete that report
Yep.
for them.
Yes.
So Nick and I are going to work together
Yep.
to do it. It's a standard report.
Mm.
But Sam Weller has given us quite a lot of guidance
Good. Good.
on how to answer the various
Yes.
questions.
Yes. And presumably,
Lengthy beast.
if we can get it in, they're going to say we're missing a bit here and there. They're not going to just. They're going to tell us where.
And nothing.
Okay.
I think we should get it done.
Okay. Now, have we got a sort of a date in mind for an open meeting?
Well, in order to satisfy the CCF, who are
Yes.
paying for all this,
Yes.
it needs to happen to give, in I would say, maximum 2 weeks' time,
Yep.
so that Nick and
Well,
I
next
have got a
week.
chance to factor that into the report that goes to them, because they must have the report by the end of November.
Yes. Yes. And you're going to need a week at least to comply what you learn at the parish meeting, aren't you?
Well, that's right, and to see how it impacts everything else.
Yes. And if it really goes wrong, we might need an EO to revise what we've just said. Not that we will be.
Don't go
I'm
there.
sure. I won't go there. Okay, so can I leave that with yourselves to sort that date?
Yeah.
And then if we do the delivery
As soon as
Runs.
possible from my point of view.
from the meeting.
We haven't actually got any resolutions for any of this.
No, we
That's
haven't.
a vote.
So we can receive, we're happy to receive the final feasibility study report, aren't we? I don't see,
Yes.
we've got that, we've all had
I
it,
don't know how you got
we
it.
all understand it. So I'm going to propose we receive that.
I'll second.
Sharon seconding it, all in favour? Say aye. You're right, yes, which, right, okay. Receiving the executive summary, we've received that, we understand it. We're going a bit off piece with it, but we do understand it, and we received it.
Just one note on that. The executive summary, I don't know why I haven't noticed this before, speaks of there being 130 metres of covered ditch.
That was prior to this.
Yeah. And of course, that is no longer the case. So really,
Well, we could say we received the principle of it, we are, well, not
I can ask John Stanley about it, I can ask him just to tweak it
yeah,
so that it makes more sense.
okay.
that would make sense.
So should we say
Depends.
that we receive it with corrections or with
Yeah.
an amendment?
That would be best.
Okay, so I'm going to propose that we receive it with an amendment.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are you going to second that, Ian?
I would, I ought to, yes.
You ought to, Richard, yes. All in favour?
Yeah.
Good, okay. Discuss and decide upon the Parish Council's preferred recommended route. Now, we've got this sort of, we like route 2, but we're going to continue to see if we can have some measures to reduce speeds.
Can I put it in a positive way?
Absolutely.
That
Yes.
we accept the route 2 option
Yes.
and welcome the opportunity to add some ideas and preferences in the detailed design.
Can you also put to reduce car speeds or vehicle speeds, somewhere in that sentence?
So,
Who's this for? This is just our...
This is, we're going to go back to CCF, aren't we? Or is this, we're sending this back to, is it Transport Initiatives or CCC?
What? The report? The executive summary? What are we talking about?
We are here discussing and deciding on the Parish Council's preferred recommended route option. Presumably we're sending it back to somebody.
County Council,
Yes,
because they've commissioned the report.
yes,
So
yes.
we're sending it back to them,
yes,
but we're also having to advise CCF that we've come to a conclusion.
yes. And we'll also have to advise the parish at the meeting to come to a conclusion.
Yep. And we
But
want their views too.
We were just talking a little bit earlier, you were hopefully in that sentence or the paragraph putting in something like we would like them to consider options for reducing vehicle speeds.
Okay.
You
So that's
said
only
you like
relevant
route
if
2, want to reduce traffic speeds, minimise impact on land and construction.
Yeah.
traffic
At the
speeds is only
detailed design
relevant
stage.
if it's on the carriageway.
Yeah, if they're cycling on the road, then yeah, it's only relevant.
I think it's also relevant.
It's also, yeah, it's like,
I mean, if you
Especially if they come off.
cycle down Crystal Lakes when someone
Can I
goes at 60
suggest we
miles
don't
an
try to rewrite this report?
hour. No,
They've given us a summary that doesn't pin us down to, you know, every yard and every whatever. They've suggested a route. We've said there's a detailed design phase. My sense is we accept that option route 2 is the one to go for.
Mhm.
We welcome the detailed design phase so that we can influence and add to the final beast. One through the Parish Council themselves, but also from the public meeting. Trying to rewrite it now
Which
is
kind
not...
of also, we are then endorsing the design of the stands, aren't
yeah. I mean, earlier you did put something about reducing traffic speeds, which made it nice and...
Well,
I think-
what I said was we like the report,
Yes,
we like the route 2, we would like them to consider traffic speed reduction, all the things that Nick's just said,
yes,
minimising
yes.
my sense is that we just present it in that way.
Yes.
We like the route, we'd like the detailed design to think about this, that, and whatever comes out of the public meeting.
So we need to put those...
We need that in the
Fine.
proposal, so
Yeah,
I've got propose accept route 2 option, welcome opportunity to add ideas and preferences in the detailed design phase.
to consider?
What would you like to add? To consider?
What we said was, reducing traffic speeds, means by which we reduce traffic speeds,
And minimise.
minimising the impact on land, cost and disruption. And
On land, cost and construction.
disruption.
Disruption, sorry.
It's all right.
or construction disruption.
Okay, you propose that we accept the route 2 option, you welcome the opportunity to add ideas and preferences in the detailed design phase, to consider means by which we reduce traffic speeds, minimising impact on land, cost and disruption.
Sounds good to me.
Somebody like to second?
I will second that. Okay, all
Right.
in favour?
I'm-
Brilliant, okay.
Thank
So
you.
we'll carry that forward and then we'll...
So,
Okay, thank you very much.
maybe we want to, yeah, you haven't finished, done yet?
No, we've done the hard bit.
You've done the half bit.
Discuss the sort of opening, but I think well, obviously we do need to hold that open meeting, otherwise we're going to be in trouble with our sponsors. So, presumably Nick can sort out when there's some available space at the Beth Church.
To do so.
Absolutely, yes. So are we happy that we allow our clerk to arrange a meeting date,
Yes, please.
which would be for next week, I would suggest, if possible?
If that's possible.
Yeah, either end of next week or beginning of the following, depending on how quickly we can get the leaflet out.
That's true.
Actually, we vote for a leaflet.
Okay, so we're all okay. So,
Well, I'm assuming the leaflet's the best way for people to know about it.
yeah,
Although we could, we could also use the community website, could we? And that way
Facebook.
make people aware.
Should we put it on Facebook?
well, I mean, it's a question of whether we want to spend more money on the leaflet, really. I mean, we put a leaflet out for the initial meeting, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we ought
I'm
to
just checking dates next week.
I can't do Tuesday.
Oh, can't do Tuesday. No, I can't do it.
What are you going to show at that open meeting?
Sorry?
You're going to show that design at the open meeting?
well, it's on the website, isn't it? That report's on the website,
Yes,
isn't
the report's on the website. We'll need to put together a kind of summary that reflected what we said here.
it? Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Trying to take notes.
Well, we don't need to arrange it, decide the date right now, so I can't confirm venue availability.
Indeed, no, I'm not sure about next week. Okay.
Okay.
So I've got Graham proposing the clerk arrange open meeting,
Yes.
Yeah,
seconded by Anne.
yeah. All in favour? Yeah. Good, thank you. And then we need to discuss the sort of distribution of leave to parishioners, so presumably,
You've drafted one.
I've drafted,
so you can tweak it to fill in the information, or what we've decided,
yeah,
or ish. And then we can hopefully push it out later this week or meeting with the Parish Council routes. Can I have I propose that leaflet, seconded for that one?
Yes, please.
Oh, and seconding, all in favour?
Yes.
Say aye. Good, okay. Page 2. Right, page 2 of 2. Okay, handyman. Discuss and decide upon job description. Now, the job description is in here. I'll be happy with that draft, version 2. Job overview, responsibilities, playground, litter, benches. She gets a specific bit there with benches. Bridges, ponds, council property, which would include fences and pavilion. Other duties, report damage, available at short notice to carry out emergency repairs. Such other additional duties commensurate with the nature of the role. Give assistance when needed to the maintenance contractor with one-off projects at the request of the clerk. And then we have the qualifications, remuneration, etc., etc. So that's the
Decisions to make on pay scale of interviews and
salary.
salary thing.
you see the back strips. Yeah, we did table lift up, haven't we? Okay, so that's the only.
Standing desk.
Okay, sorry. So the only, if you're generally happy with the job description, the last one that needs a yes or no from us is the remuneration, where we're talking about the local council employment rate would be the first stepping point, which is SCP1, which is currently at £9.02, or the national minimum wage, which is £8.21. So, that's a question whether we go for the finance committee will discuss this because it all comes budget. So we were generally thinking that SCP1, as it's a council position, SCP1 would be appropriate rather than national minimum wage. But obviously that committee has no authority, so it's down to full council as to what the hourly rate would be.
propose we go for SCP1.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Who's current?
You propose that? You absolutely seconding?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favour? Yeah. Okay.
I'll
And
probably abstain.
you abstain. Okay, so that's four and one abstention.
I think well, I think we've 5,000 overspent already, so
Well,
just
yes.
minimum wage would be better really.
Well,
Minimum
yes.
wage is probably going to change it.
Did you get in? Everything's better next year, isn't it? From December 13th, everything's better.
The thing is,
Well,
Bernie
they
was on
get it.
about £6 an hour, so it's...
Yeah. But this guy will do an awful good.
No.
This guy's doing an awful lot more. But the contract will be for a year, so we can hopefully really gauge the change. Okay, so we've done the job description and
You approved
Is
the
it this guy?
Yes.
okay, yeah.
You approved the salary.
Can I have a second? I'm going to propose we accept the job description. Can I have a second of that, please? Go. Yeah. All those in favour? Or
Sorry.
Sharon, are you
Does it
abstaining?
say anything about kind of paying sickness or holiday?
It will be in there, I'm sure.
I can't see anything.
Well, it's minimum wages and stuff, isn't it?
Don't think it does, 'cause I didn't read it through.
This is in terms of reference, it's not a contract.
That would be in the contract.
No.
It wouldn't really be in the job description.
So, I just,
As an
yeah.
employee, you are entitled to holiday and sickness. It's not, the statutory minimum is not negotiable.
Are you happy that the job description was approved?
So I've got Ian seconded.
Okay, yes.
And what was the vote?
I think it's
Yes.
4-1.
Yeah.
Sharon, are you abstaining? Or?
Yeah, sorry, I haven't had time to,
Yeah,
I
no,
haven't
that's
been
okay,
able
that's
to
fine.
look at all of that
Okay.
for tonight.
Discuss and decide upon recruitment method and process. Initially, we were going to have a panel that was going to be.
Where are you going to advertise? It's the beginning of the story.
Oh, sorry, this is recruitment panel.
Method.
Yes, okay. Discuss and decide upon a recruitment method. So this is where we advertise. Anyone got any? I mean, hopefully we're going to get a local person.
I would say just within the village really, ideally, because you don't really want anybody that's not
You want a bit
that
person
isn't
involved, don't you?
local, yeah.
Mm. Does that mean we just put notice boards and just put it
Well,
in?
why don't we do that
Shop.
initially at the
Shop.
shop?
Yes, Spectrum.
Community website.
Oh, well, see, the minute you go on the community website, you're then global, aren't you?
It's
Hang
a
on.
community website.
Yes, but it's global. Yes.
That's true.
But so is Hilton Parish Council.
Undeniable, we can't restrict you what's easy.
Yes, I know, but you just said you wanted to advertise it locally.
Well,
I don't just understand that.
He said notice boards. The conversation was about the notice boards, not about the website.
By
No,
putting
I appreciate
by putting it on the website, you're then telling the world, aren't you, that there's a job advert. Because there's a job. So you,
Okay, so not even putting it on the Parish Council website.
well, that's where we're coming to stage by stage. Initially, Sharon says we keep it local, notice boards and Spectrum, potentially. So if we want to go further, then that's fine, but it's not, that's, I don't class that as local. I mean, it's like a, yeah,
otherwise we'll be forever vague.
we don't know.
Well, we don't.
We've already had one applicant, haven't we?
Well, I've got a CV already.
Yeah. So I mean, it is out there because it's been in Spectrum twice, or once at least.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good. We'll have a discussion then. The proposal is that we advertise on notice board and Spectrum. We then need to decide whether we go for a website. I'm going to propose that we just go for the notice board and the website. Sorry, and Spectrum. Can I have a second of that one? Not on the website. Okay, no second now? Okay, so
Spectrum will give you quite a long closing date, bearing in mind Spectrum will be published for another month.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so does someone want to propose an alternative proposal?
I propose to put it on the notice boards and on the Parish Council website.
Okay, someone going to second that one?
Facebook is that just village people?
The people that like the page are mostly from the
So you're happy to include your proposal for Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, so Kieran's proposing something.
So you're proposing Facebook as well?
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, okay, I'll second that.
Okay, Sharon? All those in favour?
You're abstaining?
Yeah.
Carry on. Right, elect recruitment panel. Amongst the four that are here, because we have Rob who isn't here. But do we actually need to have the panel recruited now?
Not necessarily.
Or should we wait
It's
until
going to
we get
depend on
Who?
the timing, isn't
Yeah, you need to decide
What's the closing
the
date?
closing date and who is going to be shortlisting for interview. Shouldn't we get that many candidates?
which will be a recruitment panel, wouldn't it? Okay. When do we need a panel to actually shortlist the CVs?
Yes.
We can't have all the committee.
All five of the committee.
I mean, that would be better, because then I'm just thinking about the interview would be bad to have 5 people.
You
But
couldn't interview five.
No.
That would be.
I think it'd be okay if we all sat round and checked the CVs, wouldn't it? And came to a decision then. And at that meeting, we could decide who the panel was.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
so wait for a...
Okay,
Wait
so
for
you're
you.
proposing.
I'm proposing that the staffing committee review CVs,
Yeah.
and at that meeting, we would then elect a panel, a recruitment panel of 3.
Are we going to say closing date at what, middle of December?
Quite a long way, isn't it?
6 weeks is quite.
Be nice to get it, well,
Oh,
we're
we're the
4th now.
fourth already, 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4. By the time people see it, you've got to give enough time
Is 2
for
weeks
people
enough?
to see it.
Yeah.
3 weeks enough?
I'd say 3 weeks, yeah. And
3 weeks, so that will be 25th.
Yeah.
Usually 3 weekends, isn't it?
Is that something we need to decide now, or can we just see how many?
Well, if I'm putting an advert up, normally
Got
the
it.
closing date.
Oh, I
and
see,
then-
okay.
Yeah. Well, why don't we put closing date the 30th of November? 'Cause then it's the end of the month, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay with that? That's Sharon's proposal.
So then we can interview the first week in December, really. If we had we could have a meeting to look at the CVs
We go
and
to meet, yes.
I don't think we're going to get hundreds of applicants.
Okay, so Sharon's proposal is that we have the closing date of 30th of November. I'd like to second that. All in favour? Yeah? Right, okay.
Sorry, I got your proposal about the staff committee shortlist CVs, but I haven't got a second or a vote.
Oh, right. Okay, that's my proposal.
Proposals. Thank you.
All those in favour? Yeah. Good, okay, thank you. Right, that's good. Moving on. Report and quote for relevant tree work. Ian, is this more?
Yes.
Notice it's relevant tree work.
Yes.
I don't want irrelevant tree work.
I suddenly
Can't
realised
call that.
contractors' names. I should have put just A, B and C. So perhaps I shouldn't.
Two batteries, you never have.
No. I suddenly realised when I was this one way down here.
So this is a follow-on from last month where you were asked or requested if you get a third contractor, which you've done.
That's it.
So well done.
So if we look at the first page, I put all 3 contractors' prices together, and I've also put the volunteer group down as well. You'll see some of them are prioritised as V, which is potentially to be done by the volunteer group. And I've normally just put down the cheapest contractor price down that column where the volunteer group can potentially work. So say you've got all the prices there. Just a couple of items of note. Under number 4A, you'll see an asterisk, and that is because in that first tree of the one that's behind the maze, we notice that there is now a failed limb high in that first tree. So that has only recently been seen. So in actual fact, the very first quote may be slightly high when it comes to it, when it gets there. But you would certainly see it as soon as you arrive. So there's that. The other thing as well is number 6, the declining oak opposite the lines. Given the advice from the third contractor who we met and went round with last Tuesday, we've decided not to proceed with that work. So that was on the previous quotes that we looked at last month, but we decided not to go ahead. So, with all those numbers available, I then presented us with 3 different options. So, turn the page, and that first option that you've got is where I said, right, we'll just go out and we'll ask for the contractors to carry out priority A and B. So you'll see that the columns come out, and in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got a figure of £1,890, the objected spend. But I'll say that's just priorities A and B. In actual fact, when we went round, we felt that we would like to go ahead and do A, B and C, and that's on the following sheet.
Okay.
So the following sheet, and that gives us a bottom right hand figure of 2,940. But you will notice that if you look at the individual contractors, there is a very wide range of different monies allocated to those 3 different contractors. And what I was at pains to point out last time was that contractor A was the gentleman who spent a lot of time going around with us, and we looked at the village. We spent about 8 or 9 hours going around and looked at a lot of the village with him. And if you turn the page yet again, you come to what I've called the balanced spend, and for £3,030, which is just another £90, so £3,030 in total, then the spend is remarkably similar on all 3 contractors.
And that covers C as well, isn't it?
That covers all the C options.
That's good, isn't it?
So when we did this exercise for the third quote, I think we both didn't want to unset the balance. We were actually quite impressed, weren't we?
Yes.
With his technical knowledge, and
That's good.
obviously the way he's quoted has been reasonably competitive. So it's been a good exercise actually. I think we get the mid, won't we?
Yes, absolutely.
And that this way they'll all have some work actually, won't they?
That's right.
Which is sort of fair actually.
Yeah.
And also maybe the contractor 3 isn't very good, despite him sounding good.
Well, that's
You don't want to put all your eggs in that basket
No,
just yet, do you?
no, quite. It's not somebody who we had before. But I mean, it's interesting, towards the end of walking around with him, he said, I'm going to give you individual prices. He said, obviously, if you were to put all the work my way, then perhaps we could talk terms. So, leave that
Might be handy for next time, won't it?
Well, let's bear that in mind. We are, seeing how we get on with the this time round.
So your proposal,
My proposal is that we go for that third option, which is the balanced spend, as I've termed it.
Yep.
And that we would spend £3,030 on looking after our trees, which would involve all the priority A, B and C works
Fine.
as listed here.
I'm happy to accept that. Oh, sorry, let's second that.
Thank you.
Can I have a vote? Are we all happy to go with that? Sharon? Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ian. That's good. Okay. Right, playground. 124 playground. Discussions on the location of picnic benches in the playground. Now, this was an issue that was. One working from memory. I believe this was supporting docs.
I just apologise for the drawing. Not a...
It's not on supporting docs.
It's in a separate file. isn't it?
bench locations. 124.1 bench locations.
It's a
It's
whole
a
new
question
scene.
of whether they were
Some
on the
drop-offs.
Grove End side or
different
the
folder.
leaf ditch side,
Separate.
and I have another
Yeah,
idea.
let's
So do I.
I've been there today.
I've another idea as well. Just to,
Seeing my lovely drawing.
That's
Yeah.
the
just
Good job.
original location. Sorry.
right? You've got to be. Just to go slightly astray here. The next one, 124.2, it talks about replacing benches, replacement wood for benches. Are those benches set in concrete?
No,
Yeah. Are they on the room, are they?
they are moved. They are now
Okay.
right at the back of the playground.
But-
As you look at the
Yes, that's what I thought. Are they set there? So they're staying there?
I don't believe they're set.
Are they sort of positioned there? Okay, fine. So discuss upon the location of this. Now, you can see from the various options where they're going to be, and then we suggested that the neighbours would refer them somewhere else, and then we realised that where they're going is going to foul some roots, and so we decided to leave them outside. So
No.
that,
Sorry to interrupt. I got the costs for the stump removal.
oh yes,
So all 6 stumps,
yes.
£100.
Well, that's fine then. Okay, excellent.
That's
I was walking around the other day. I could only see 2, but I don't know where all the 6 are. But still, so cheap. So those are the options on the table. Anne said you had something else that you wanted.
Well, and just that looking at the 2 lots,
Mm.
there's the 2 seats together or the 2 seats together. Or
Yes.
Why have them together? Do we have to?
I'm
have
with
them
you.
together?
I'm with you.
Why not have one at the corner, the leaf ditch corner?
Yeah, and then the second one could be disassembled and hidden and do anything.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
You
No.
don't need 2 benches, do it?
I mean, I think they could both be on that side to avoid the Grove house being disturbed, but they don't need to be right next to each other, do they?
Well, the other thing I was going to mention is that when we were talking about pit benches, I don't think we were talking about the seats staying, were we? So we have got a lot of seats in there now. And in all seriousness,
And that's for families, Greg.
Exactly.
That would come with their children and have a picnic.
Yeah.
And
How many
you've got
times
Grannies
do
and
we sit on
grandpas need to
benches?
sit down.
Well, grandmas
Well, because you
have
haven't got
trouble.
young children, you don't visit a park to sit on benches with young
Yeah.
children.
There's also seats in there, aren't there? There's a lot of seats in there as well. I'm just talking about the cost now.
So we're not paying for the benches, are we? Picnic benches.
The picnic bench is already part of the
Yeah,
compound
it
plan,
is.
so they are assembled
So let's
and
just
ready to be
decide where they're
installed.
going, yeah?
Yeah. I think one each corner would be a nice idea, but they look a bit odd at the front.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like them being the leaf ditch side. I think that's
Mm.
helpful to the
Yeah.
neighbours, but
Well,
they don't need
it's
to be right
not
next to each other.
on the other ones closer to them if they're on the side.
See?
Well, the actual building, the house, we've got 9 Maze Road, is it? I think that will actually be closer to the benches if you move them to the Reeves Ditch side than they are in their current location to Grove House.
Oh, I just forget about the house, we can't see it.
It's only just on the other side of that fence.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, that's
Why don't we
true.
one on each side then?
I think that one like on the corner, you know, the 2 there don't look good. They can't do that together.
That's it, only
Well, indeed, but still, they're still sandwiched in.
Mind you, that is a sloping corner, isn't it, fence?
Mm.
Yeah.
So it would be
Yeah.
ideal to have one there,
Yeah, that's,
I've got
yes,
one there, but not 2.
yes.
and then one the other end towards Grove House. Because where's
On the corner,
Where's the little woodland walk thing going?
Mm.
Just Reeves Ditch side.
Yes.
Okay. So
Or unless we put one at the back, but you said that's
You're on
if you have it at the back, that's
Yeah.
going to upset the neighbours.
Yeah, so
Yes, neighbours.
the rest of that side is 200 trees that would just end up unusable.
So I
One
think
each side.
the proposal is one at a jaunty angle, sort of parallel with the fence or something, the sloping fence, and the other one on the corner, the right hand corner.
Yeah.
just going to have to be careful where you position it on the corner so that children don't, like, run into it, or if they're...
It's part of learning.
It's outside of
There should be a play park if avoid the bench.
No, I know.
Let's get the benches in.
I'm just thinking if it could be on an angle, sort of going round the corner, it might be less of an obstacle if there's children on, bikes or bikes or whatever.
I think as long as it
the...
doesn't
Should be off
protrude.
the path.
Yes, as long as it protrudes,
Yes.
it doesn't protrude to be on the fence.
Okay, so I've got
Sort of
Graham
symmetrical
proposing one at
together.
each end.
Anne was proposing that.
Sorry, Anne proposing
So one at jaunty angle, one where it was originally.
that. So we're parallel with the fence angle.
Yeah.
I'm presuming you're talking about that one.
Yeah.
That one goes, we have that one.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
The other one goes as a jaunty angle in line with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
fence corner here.
As
So-
per that one, yeah.
General flavour?
Yeah.
Okay, Anne's recommending that, or proposing that.
I
Second it, Sharon seconding it. All in favour? Okay, that's that one done. Yeah, is it?
Yeah, I'm there.
Thank you very much. And so basically what you've done there is you've agreed to £100 extra spend on the stump grinding as necessary. I should have told you that, but
We still have to stump grind even though we're not putting them.
you certainly do on the jaunty angle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jaunty
you
angle
do
was
that.
the
I'm
big stump
fairly
there.
certain you'll need something going there, but £100 is a quote for all six.
So if you can, yeah.
It's not bad, is
Just
it?
do
That's
it.
really
I just don't know how that, we had two stumps ground
Well, then you
last year in the village, Parish Council did.
Anyway, that's good. But we won't need 6 doing. So,
Actually,
Just do it.
that
We might
price
go
would be
with
worth
that, but if he's going to do 6 for 100,
oh, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Exactly.
let's let them do so.
because they're more of a trip hazard.
Yeah,
They are, yes,
Yeah.
they are true. Absolutely.
Once we're on, you asked about a tree that needed removing. Is this in the left-hand corner of the playground?
Top left,
Yes. I went and had a look the other day.
yeah.
We should be able to take that out quite easily.
It's not
Yeah.
massive.
Fairly
I think
straightforward.
it's within the safety zone of the swings,
Yeah.
so it has to go, because otherwise we won't pass inspection.
Do we know when we're looking at an open date for this playground?
We're looking at possibly inspection next Friday. If we could get that
Really?
tree done.
Okay, so
This Friday?
Great.
I'm going to speak with Kieran of Compan tomorrow, because obviously there was things to be discussed at this meeting, so we can set the date for the inspection at that point. And what they'll do is they'll come and they'll install the benches, and then that's the last job they've got to do, and then they can do the inspection and sign us off.
So where are we with the fencing at the moment?
It's about halfway round.
That's good.
Yeah, they've started at the Maze Road, yeah, and then they're about to the gate.
Shucks.
Yeah,
Yes.
There were 3 vans, right?
yeah, they started this morning.
In a big way. Okay, so we're okay with the picnic bench style.
Yeah.
We then have to discuss what's upon the purchase of replacement wood for the benches, the seating benches, which we're advised are steel made by Wicksteed, and so they are actually going to supply us the wood to fit into the benches.
for us to do ourselves.
I presume,
Nuts and bolts, I'm presuming.
Yes.
To do.
so these are quite expensive prices, but I suppose they should just fit.
these dimensions actually in the.
Yeah, you can see photographs.
fence.
This is on PowerPoint,
Right.
so that's
Yes.
the PowerPoint one. Yeah, the like-for-like replacement is a lot more expensive. We're talking a total of £540 to replace the wood. new bolts and things. Because it doesn't talk about fixing these ones down there. That's what I'm concerned about. That's why I asked that question. Because like for like, all it includes fixing them down. And the fixing down cost was £627 for two. So,
Sorry, what's that for a brand new bench?
yeah, that's a brand new bar and seat. So the seats will cost you 640 quid. Two of those, 1200. Fixing them down is 627. So it's a lot more to buy a new one. But I'm just hoping that all the costs are in the...
It's ridiculous. It's the company we bought the benches off round the maze provided them free of charge.
The fixings, yeah, I presume this is something else.
Could we use the fixings?
We've still got some spare fixings,
Well, that could be useful because there seems to be no mention of fixing these seats down. I'm assuming they think the benches
How much
always...
for those benches?
Sorry?
How much for those benches? Can you remember?
I think there were 399 or 200.
Curved.
They were curved though.
The straight version would be by the sound.
Oh, the straight version, yeah, it's, well, it depends how long, the 8-foot long one is 699, but the shorter ones are about 399.
So new bench is cheaper than replacement wood.
About the same, yes. Comparable.
I thought it was £500.
Yes.
That's for both.
That's both.
Oh, right, okay.
That's both.
And they've got metal ends like the old water.
Yeah. So that was a suggestion that came back. I mean, there's also the question, do we need benches? Do we need the seating benches?
It'd be nice to have.
Run into.
It'd be nice to have a bench actually inside the park so that if parents have got very little children, they'll have somewhere to put on their bags or, you know, put and then a car seat down or something.
I mean, there were two seats there before, as you can tell.
What's this document?
No, I think
This is PowerPoint supporting.
well, why don't we, as
Yeah.
a compromise, perhaps, so are they saying they'll fit the wood?
I don't think so. No, this is
So
just
they'll
supply.
supply.
This is something for our handyman. Because presumably there's no hurry for the benches. I can't imagine many people would be in this weather tracking down.
Just suggest they
But,
have
We have got a few fixing kits left, haven't we? Sorry, can I just ask,
Well,
do you remember how many we've got?
It's fine.
Sold some, so I don't know.
Well, it's only 250, isn't it? It's effectively 250 for a bench
Yeah,
Was that to get the wood to repair it,
and the bolts.
or just to it?
yeah, it's just,
It's unlikely
it's
that it's
too
just around
counter.
that.
And then we perhaps use the fixings we've got.
If we need them, that's right, yes. Yes. But as I say, if these benches don't fit, they look like they could be quite happily put around the green as well.
Yeah.
Because there's similar to the ones under the oak tree, aren't there? Yeah. So, okay. So the proposal there is that we purchase wood at a cost of £500 with nuts and bolts. And that's my proposal. Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah.
And Sharon's saying yes. All in favour? They are. Good. Okay, thank you very much. Right, Feast Week. Discuss and sign upon the request to consider approving Feast Week 2020. Again, we got an email, not again, we have an email from the Secretary of Hilton Feast Week, the Chair, in best interest. I'm writing on behalf of Hilton Feast Week to ask the Council to consider approving Feast Week 2020, run from Sunday the 19th, is earliest next year, Sunday 19th to Saturday 25th. Rector Marquee in usual place, exact dates to be confirmed. In addition, we also want to sell bits and pieces at the firework do on Saturday 9th, serving mulled wine, refreshments and novelties. And then they'd also like to sell novelties on the approach to the entrance Now, I think all those, or both those things, are all in accordance with what we've had in previous years, and I'm not aware of any problems. So
Just do it.
I'm mindful to say, go ahead with it, propose that we accept that. Yeah. Sharon's happy to go ahead with it. Do you want to discuss it? We
No.
no?
Just do it.
Okay, all in favour?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. This is 126. Discuss proposed development at Church End and decide upon holding a meeting with the developer. This came in about a week ago, a little surprise email.
Where did it come from?
It came from the developer.
Oh.
So has he bought the land?
Well,
Can
I don't know.
Certainly, I have spoken to the developer and he's not happy with those plans being shared at this point because he's going to have to change them based on the survey. So the plans that he's given us are not what will go ahead.
Sensitive.
So he's asked if they aren't shared because it isn't what's going to go ahead. He said once we've got confirmed updated plans, he would be happy for them to be shared.
Okay. So we can talk about the amount of houses.
Yeah.
Well, that may change. I don't know. I don't have the
Oh, yeah.
updated plan.
Well, we have to mention the sort of numbers.
Well,
So basically,
what's the question really?
well, the question is
He
he
speculatively sent these to us.
Yes,
Why?
yeah. well he
As part of the local plan, he has to
Get our views.
get our views, get us inside before he goes further. I believe.
I don't know whether he has to, or it's to his advantage.
It's his advantage to do so.
He has basically put in this speculative
Yeah.
plan for the land at the top of Church End, which at the moment comprises 20 houses. 40% would be affordable or low cost, I'm not sure which. And he's asked us, he would like to meet with the Parish Council. Now, it was obviously brought to this meeting to decide whether we wish to talk to him, or whether we say, actually, this is so far outside of the development plan
Absolutely.
maybe you'd like to come back with when something is a bit more in line with.
Yeah.
Because basically the other thing I would point out is that we were supportive of the local development plan, and we also when the call for sites went out, we also contested that.
That we're a
So,
small settlement.
We're a small settlement. This is 5% extra houses. So
This is a big development for that small site. And
Very
they're-
high density.
Yeah, and they're all semi-detached, so they're crammed in, aren't they? Well, there's only one or two detached, but
well, I think I don't think you need to take too much notice of the
No.
actual.
no, but to
So
get
the density gives
20,
you a clue, doesn't it?
yeah, if you're proposing 20 houses there, there's going to be significant extra traffic down Church End.
I think also you've got to bear in mind, my position would be that it's not in accordance with the local plan, which we supported.
Yeah.
I think there's a danger if we did meet with him and just discuss, then if he could take that away and say, I consulted.
Yes.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
So I'm proposing
Not
that we send back to him and say it's not in accordance with the local development plan, and therefore we see no point in meeting.
But would
I
he-
certainly wouldn't meet him unless
No.
the parishioners have a chance to kind of say anyway, so it becomes a bigger deal.
But would he just go ahead anyway?
There's no plan for approval, obviously.
He's got a planning, he's got a
He's
planning
got to
commission,
buy the land.
and he wouldn't have a planning application.
Eventually.
Unless he's working on behalf of the landowner.
Oh, right, so we don't know that.
Oh, right.
No, that's not down to us to sort of worry about.
Okay.
But my response would be, we didn't see a necessity or a need for meeting, as it was not in accordance with the local development plan.
And certainly, I think it would be good to put something in the response that it's, far too many houses.
Well, you're saying that
Maybe
by,
in the comments.
Yeah.
yes, I think by saying that it doesn't suit the development plan,
Okay.
then it's down to him to read the local plan and see where it falls short.
Yeah.
So that's my proposal. Can I have a second to that, please? Ian seconding. All in favour?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That's good. Right. 127. Discuss and decide upon the quotes for street light. Now, this has been alluded to. That the price has gone up because we have. I'm glossing over this. We have a an unmetered supply at the moment. Cambridgeshire County Council supplies electricity, or charges electricity, and it was previously £1,200. They're now shifting responsibility back down to us, and because we don't have much buying power, the quotes are not coming in favourably. I'm going to have to ask for help in sorting that.
We're really just looking at that last column, total cost.
Oh, I thought this was about £600.
Well, it depends which one you're looking at. So those are the last ones I got in the focus energy. But I've got to calculate those costs, which is why it says calculations to be confirmed.
I'm
So I've
sorry.
had to try and calculate that because they didn't give me a total. And I've asked them for the total and they haven't come back to me.
Sorry, but and
The
these
other ones have given me their calculation of total annual cost.
Yes. But this is not a, this is an unmetered supply, so they wouldn't say to us, well, you've used more electricity, because
No,
they wouldn't know.
this
It's
is
all
what
based
they're
on.
rating us as.
Yeah.
So yeah, UK Power Networks have said that under these three MPANs, this is what you'll use, the 35 kilowatts, 339 and 7,981. So that's what you'll be charged for.
Yeah. Okay, so total costs. So total costs range from sort of £1,400 to 18 to 2,000. I mean, gosh, that's green energy as well. It is. It's incredible. And are any for? They're all 12 months fixed. One's 36 months.
They're all various
Yeah.
things.
So you've got.
48.
Hmm?
It's more than 48.
Yeah. Yes.
The recommendation from Utility Aid was that we go with this Haven 36 month at £1,800, one of the most expensive, on the basis that they're trying to get all the parish councils onto this, and then we'll have more buying power come the next renewal. But what other parish councils are saying is when you go through Utility Aid, the prices are inflated, and you can see that very clearly. Where I've gone to Haven directly, it saves £100 a year on the same like-for-like contract.
I'm not, yeah.
I mean, do you have a preference? I mean, obviously you've done more work on this. I mean, presumably the lights are still going to glow, aren't they?
Yeah. I haven't gone to E.ON directly, so I could try going to E.ON directly. They're the only ones that have given this 30-day rolling contract. So the E.ON one's quite difficult to read, and I went through this with the chappie at Utility Aid several times.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst we've got a variety of numbers there, the starting price would be that 1583, and they're then predicting what might happen to the energy market. So it might go down and it might go up, but it's all very.
So this is a quote based on the current. Yeah.
So we would start off at that 1583, and they're predicting that that's what might happen in the next few months. But obviously on a 30-day rolling contract, it just depends what they're buying the energy supply at.
Yes.
I was surprised at how cheap Opus came out, but then that could be the fact that I haven't calculated it correctly. So I'm a bit wary there,
Yes.
because that's my calculations, not supplied by the energy company.
So at the moment, we are supposed to sort us out by the end of October, weren't we?
Yes.
So do you think we'll get a bill from Cambridgeshire County Council? Or?
Yes.
So we're in no danger of, we have, the lights will
The
go out.
lights are still on.
Yes. So do we have to decide tonight? I mean, are you confident in these prices, or?
If you can, well, because Opus is so much cheaper, if you can get that confirmed, that makes sense, and then make a decision on that.
Yeah. What would you choose to go in terms of how long you would fix it? Would you go for the 12-month, 24, 30? There's not a massive price difference.
I'd go for the 36 personally. Well, no, the
48.
48. Because that's £10 more, isn't it? Are they really going to guarantee the price for 4 years? Isn't it? Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're the cheapest.
Yeah.
I would suggest that, subject to your happiness with the calculations, that we would go for the 4-year one. And then, is that enough authority to do that?
Yeah.
And
If you delegate that authority, then
Sure.
yeah.
So
But I
And
just
you
think
did,
that if these,
delegate it in a previous meeting.
indeed, but if these figures don't add up, then you have to sort of come back to
I'll
us.
bring it back.
Yes, okay. So, do you want to propose on that? Are you happy that you've been given authority at the last meeting?
No.
Okay. The proposal is that we ask our clerk to go for Opus Energy 4-year fixed contract, subject to these calculations being confirmed. And that would be £1,400 a year, just short of. I mean, the point to mention, I just think that although it's saying £9 more expensive, it's £9 each year, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's 15.7 pence kilowatt hour. We pay 14 or something.
This is 14.99, isn't it?
No, 46.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's different rates per kilowatt depending on what the end plan is.
So 46 months is the bond figure.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Proposal me?
Yeah.
Yeah, seconded by...
Seconded by...
Yeah, one by two. Yes. All in favour of the lowest price? Brilliant.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Lovely. Okay, right. Scam. Discuss on site whether Hilton PC becomes supporters of the scam. So this was in passed over from previous meeting.
Is there any reason why we shouldn't?
I don't know. It doesn't sort of thing. Not sort of thing we normally do. The clerk was going to go away and ask about it, find out whether you'd had any comments.
Yeah, so I have spoken to them. It's coordinated by the Community Protection Department of the County Council. They work with trading standards, police, other councils, other organisations, so they are using reliable data. So they would email me with the info and I would then disseminate that as appropriate. So it may be that they might send a scam that isn't relevant to parishioners of Hilton. They might send one that is particularly relevant to the parishioners of Hilton, and then we can choose as we go along how we would publicise that information. Obviously we can put it on Facebook and the website and the notice boards. We would be added to their website as a supporter, and on their website there are free resources like no door selling, we don't accept door selling here signs, and advice for parishioners on how to handle scams and what things to look for. I've sent you a couple of examples of the alerts that were sent out, just so that you can view those. They would suggest that certainly the councillors, and that they would advise the parishioners do the 5 simple steps training and go on to become scam champions. So most of the referrals come through the national scams teams, through trading standards. So they can't, I did ask her about false alerts, and she said they can't guarantee that there won't be any false alerts. The sources they use are genuine and verifiable, so they would be confident in their sources.
So from what I'm hearing, it's more work for you.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
but you're
I don't
talking
think
about
you're
putting
gonna-
something on Facebook for the website.
I think you're going to be flooded with scams, but I think, there's so much online fraud, and I mean, just today Bernie put something on Facebook saying, something was a scam. People are being rung to say
Amazon Prime scam.
Amazon Prime.
At the moment, it's the big
Something,
one
yeah.
that's being scammed.
Yeah. And with the, no offence here, but with the age group of the village, we have got probably a higher amount of might be scammed than, I mean, me included, but so
Just do it.
I think it's definitely worthwhile. I spoke to this lady and she's so engaging. It just,
She's very passionate about it.
yeah, and I just think there's nothing to lose by and lots of other local parish councils have signed up to this as well.
Okay, so the proposal is we just do it from Sharon.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, this is Anne. Anne's proposing it.
Yeah.
Seconded by
I'll second it.
Sharon. All in favour? Okay, that goes fine. Okay. Right, approved payments.
Yeah,
You've
that's
all seen the payments. So we've got John Carter, Eco-History, Nicholas Salary, Street Lighting. Oh, more than that again. We've got the total. That's a question for later, isn't it? Diffusion tubes. Okay, we need to just check we're getting the right information from those. Compound playground will be going out soon. Gosh, £38,000 is being. Oh, this is being in three bits, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And the post office. Anything you want? mention about these?
There's another one that I added on there, Jackson's Timber.
Oh, for the gate. Is that on the?
I've got to put it on the agenda.
Okay, how much that for? In line with 640?
780 includes that.
Okay. That's the bills in front of you.
Yeah.
Anybody want to propose that they all get paid?
I'll propose it.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favour? Good. Okay, that's great, thank you. Okay, I'm moving on. Councillors' items. Kieran? Sharon?
Yeah, I've just got two things. Supporting documents. This is just coming up month after month, and I do think we might get some more parishioners here if we put the supporting documents out to just, you know, we're elected by the parishioners. We are here to, you know, disseminate information, and we should be open. And yes, okay, if there's if say for, you know, there's three companies giving quotes, maybe we could blank off the names or just put A, B or C. But I actually think, you know, we have a duty to the parishioners to share the supporting documents. I mean, all of this stuff we've discussed tonight, a large amount of that could be shared with the parishioners. And I just think it would make us more look like we're actually trying to involve the parishioners a little bit more, if it was on the website or, you know, before a meeting. I'm not saying, you know, I don't want to waste trees by printing off, you know, 6 copies of it or 10 copies of it all, but the other issue is the meeting's just going on too long, really. I think we were by 10 o'clock, we're all just exhausted. And there is the Good Councillor's Guide, which says that parish council meetings should only go on a maximum of 2 hours. So I know it's not for discussion now, but could we put it? I will email the clerk and ask if Nicola can put it on the agenda for next month.
Okay. Anne?
Nothing.
You seem to have gone home once.
No, I was probably getting colder and I was just managing my...
Okay. Okay. Ian?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. Me now. Something came in, just missed the agenda time, and this is to do with the local plan. So the local plan has been adopted, development plan has been adopted, and they're running courses on it. The first 2 or 3 are in November, and they're in various places. So I'm going to suggest that those on the planning committee, well, I'll send out, or we will send out the letter. We're allowed to send 4 people.
What dates are they?
Well, it will email. There will be there's 6 dates, and we're allowed to send 4 people. But if you want to send more, then there may well be places. So have a look at it, see which one suits you best. They're in all over the place. So have a look, see which one suits you best, and then if there's more than 4, we can ask.
That's short notice, isn't it? If it's the 4th now.
Yeah. Well, it goes through until January.
Oh, I thought you meant they're only in November.
The 6,
Oh.
the first 3 in November. I think it's 2 December and 1 in January.
Okay.
So there should be one date there that
I can
suits you.
see that.
Right.
That is just.
But do you have to go to one of them?
You don't have to go in.
No, no.
Yeah, they're not the same. It's the same course.
Oh, right, sorry, I thought you meant it was a course of 6 sessions. Right.
6 meetings.
Oh, right.
You choose whichever one is suits you
Oh,
best.
okay, right, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'll just send it out, and then you just tick the boxes to which one you want to attend.
Okay.
That's not the same one we were discussing last time, which is about planning.
Mm.
Generally, this is about the local development plan,
I'd like to see that.
which has been adopted recently.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Okie dokes. Thank you much. Meeting closed. And I think it's closed. Hand you on the